Wow, folks. Your boy is fired up. What a night at the Rock, or afternoon, I should say. It is 8 in a row for our beloved New Jersey Devils.
And how about those Devils? How about those Devils? And how about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the New Jersey Devils back at the Rock, hosting the Colorado Avalanche on a Sunday matinee game, riding a 7-game winning streak, looking to push it to 8. And your New Jersey Devils, my friends, did just that. Oh, they did just that, defeating the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 4-3 in overtime. And I have to give props. I don't remember who it was. Somebody predicted, I believe, that exact score and overtime in the chat or a comment. So I want to give credit to who that is. I can't remember, but I'm sure they may or may not be here. But someone accurately, I believe, predicted 4-3 Devils in overtime. What an absolutely prophetic prediction by that person, but what a game. 8 in a row. This team is for real. And I must ask, I must know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Wow, guys. This one was truly the signature win of the season. I keep saying that almost after every win. This one was a true gut check. Down to 5D for most of more than 2 periods. Pesce injured. Obviously, we'll talk about that in a bit, but Pesce injured. Down to 5D, blew a 2-goal lead at 2-0. They let the Avs back. Then they blew the 1-goal lead at 3-2, tied up. Kept fighting back, found a way to win. Jack with another great performance, 2 goals, including the OT winner. And what an absolute just time to be a Devils fan, guys. We get to the goals here. In the first period, Arseny Gritsuk. What a phenomenal effort by this young man on this play. Battling near the blue line to keep the puck in, whacking away, throwing the body, keeps the puck in, gets it to Timo. Timo gets it back to Grits, and he just does a little whoop, a little soccer kick from the skate right to the blade and snipes one into the corner. Arseny Gritsuk is a phenomenal talent, and the sky is the limit for this kid. Obviously, we've talked about him for, a long time now, and this kid is every bit as advertised and more. I mean, the top level skill on this kid, and like I said, with a kid like this, he could literally play on any line, and he's going to make the other guys he's playing with look good. We saw it in the preseason and early on with Paul Cotter. Dadonov gets hurt, and Mercer gets slid down to 3C. He goes up with Nico and Timo, and this kid is an absolute beast. He's going to perform anywhere you put him. It's going to be exciting to see how his kind of career and even just within the season progresses. And hopefully he is a big part with this core for years to come, because he is absolutely lethal. Lethal. Grits from Timo at 9:09 gives the boys the 1-0 lead. And only 39 seconds later, Shimo Nemec hits Jack. And it didn't look like he was going to get a great scoring chance, just kind of streaking down the wing. And he just rips it on net. Right into the back of the net. Jack's 7th from Nemec and Brendan Dillon at 9:48 gives the Devils a 2-0 lead. And at this point, I thought it could be it could have been one of those games where the Devils just dominate. But the Avalanche are a very good team, and they did not go away quietly. Around 3 minutes later, the Devils just not doing a great job today of just cleaning up in front of the net. A lot of traffic and pucks sitting around. I mean, it's going to happen some games. But at 12:55, Nichushkin cuts the deficit to 2-1. And at that point, I was at the game, obviously, many of you know, and I was just like, oh, no. Oh, no. I wanted the 3-0 lead and then to just coast to victory, but they're not all going to be like that. But Nichushkin cuts the deficit 2-1. Then a little over 4 minutes later, another kind of one of these weird sloppy-ish plays where the puck's just sitting there and MacKinnon out in front, it's just sitting there, and he just taps it right in. Got to do a little bit better of cleaning up the mess in front of the net, getting to loose pucks there and clearing guys out. But MacKinnon just parked in front, finds it for an easy tap in ties it up at 2, and that's how the period would end. And at that point, I was a little deflated. I was like, damn, 2-goal lead. We gave it back to them. We should have just buried them on home ice. But it is what it is. Tied up at 2 after 1. And I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. A little nervous. I didn't want to see. I never want the streak to end. Obviously, everything comes to an end, but I did not want the streak to end. 2-2 after 1. We go to the second. And at 12:51, Nemitz gets the puck to Connor Brown. And what a beautiful addition this man has been. Connor Brown turns on the Jets, comes in on the breakaway, and cashes it. Connor Brown's 5th of the season, my friends. I mean, did anyone in the bottom league score 5 goals? I mean, talk about a turnaround. Connor Brown, as we've talked about millions of times, has been a godsend to this club. An amazing addition by Fitz. I knew that it was an upgrade in the bottom 6 and told everybody, listen, this is a nice upgrade, but I did not think it would be this kind of upgrade. This man is just beasting for the Devils. Connor Brown, breakaway goal at 12:51, his 5th of the season from Shimo Nemitz at 12:51. Nemitz's second assist on the night gives the Devils a 3-2 lead, and that's how the period would end. And at this point, not going to lie, I was feeling good. I'm like, here we are again, a 1-goal lead heading into the third. The boys got to buckle down and close this thing out. We get to the third period, a little back and forth, some good saves by Jake. Devils had a couple decent chances, and in true cardiac kids fashion, at 13:55, Brock Nelson finds an open lane and just buries it past Jake Allen to tie it up at 3. Deflating. Devils a little over 6 minutes away from a regulation win. Brock Nelson ties it up at 3, and that is how the third period would end, and we head to overtime. And now this is kind of, for me, heading into overtime in most games, I think it favors the Devils. Obviously, all the open ice, 3-on-3 with the lethal weapons we have, top-end talent, speed, yada, yada. 3-on-3 favors the Devils most of the time. With the personnel the Avalanche have, I felt like this one was a coin flip. It was like, okay, obviously, the first possession's big, but I just thought this could go either way. But happy to at least have the point, but I obviously want the streak to continue. And at 1:53 of the third, or actually a couple seconds before 1:53, Jack in tight, throws a little move, has a decent chance, doesn't go. Devils retain possession. Jack circles back towards the net. Shimo Nemitz looks up, sees him, hits him with a nice pass. Jack has a little bit of time to operate, throws a couple moves, and just rips it in. Jack's 2nd of the game, 8th of the season at 1:53, gives the Devils the victory, keeps the heater alive, and pushes it to 8. And shout out to Shimo Nemitz with a 3-assist night for that young man. And shout out to the whole D. I mean, I'll get to that in a bit, but what an absolute beautiful performance by the Devils. Again, they're not all going to be easy. They're not all going to be pretty throughout. They showed resilience. Again, squandered a 2-goal lead, reclaimed the lead. They gave that up, and then it got to overtime, and they found a way to win. Good teams find a way to win, and doing this with 5 defensemen for over 2 periods, putting a lot of stress on guys. Again, we'll circle back on that in a minute. We look at the shots on goal. Avalanche 24, Devils at 24. Devils closed the gap. Early on in the game, they were getting just completely abused in the faceoff circle. It seemed like even some of our good guys. I want to see the individual stats, but oh wow, we somehow ended up. That's crazy. For the longest time during the game, we were trailing in the faceoff. Somehow we ended up winning the faceoff percentage here. But Avs 47.4, 27 to 57. Devils 52.6, 30 to 57. Power play for the Avs, 0 for 2. Devils only get 1 power play. Do not convert on it. 0 for 1 for the Devils. Avs with 22 hits. Devils with 22 hits. Avs with 17 block shots. The Devils with 20 block shots. Avalanche 16 giveaways. Devils 15 giveaways. Avalanche 7 takeaways. And the Devils with 11 takeaways. And then we get to, let's look at some of the nitty gritty here. But what a gutsy victory for this club before a West Coast road trip. I mean, wow. Let's see. Nason, again, still kind of finding his legs, getting back into game shape. Had a shot and 2 blocks in his 7:33 of action. The captain, Nico Hischier, doing the tough assignment work. Quiet day. Yeah, I guess, when you're that focused on your defense, nothing really going on for him outside of keeping the big guns from the Avalanche relatively quiet. McKinnon got that tap-in goal, but Glenn Denning, a lot of face-offs today. 1 shot, 1 hit. Connor Brown with a goal, 4 shots and a hit. Palat with a block and a hit. Timomeier, what a beat. Let's just talk about my boy Timo for a minute, huh? For all the people hating, first of all, that was a great assist he had to Grits, but he's just out there smashing people on the regular. And a lot of times they're probably not even on television, if I'm being honest, because a lot of times they're a little bit away from the player after, the camera's probably following the puck if someone dumps it. But he's crushing guys on the regular. Oh, and shout out to Brendan Dillon had a monstrous hit early on in the game on the bench side. What a hit by Dilly. But Timomeier with that great assist, 2 Grits, a shot, a block, 2 hits. Again, I have to believe he had way more than 2 hits. I was actually talking to someone in the media from the away team in one of the earlier games, and they were talking about how they believe the hits are kind of a wonky stat too, because it's so subjective from arena to arena, and it's one person recording it, and like what a hit is to someone might not be a hit to someone else. But in the end, I feel like Timo definitely got shafted there. I feel like he had more than 2 hits, but what a game for Timo. Paul Cotter with 2 shots and a hit. What else we got here? Bratter, 3 shots, 2 hits. Grits with the goal on 5 shots, 3 hits. Love to see Grits getting physical, and he's not shying away from it at all out there. Our boy Jack. What a season for Jack Hughes, huh? Jackie boy going off again today. 2 goals. 2 goals on. They're only giving him 2 shots, so he scored both of his shots. I mean, that's interesting. Okay, 100% shooting. Gotta like that. Dawson Mercer, 3 blocks and 2 hits. Dilly, 2 blocks and 3 hits. Dougie with 3 blocks and a hit. Shimon Nemitz. What a day for our boy Shimon. 3 assists, 2 shots, 5 blocks. You'd love to see it. Shimon Nemitz, what a beast. Playing 23 minutes, 35 seconds. I got to double check. That may be a career high for him. If not, it's got to be close. Dougie logging 25 minutes. Again, the defense, a lot of stress put on these guys today as we lost Brett Pesce at some point in the first period, and these guys were forced to play big minutes. I mean, playing down a D for 2+ periods is no easy feat, and we got a couple young defensemen. I will say early on after Pesce got hurt, the Nemitz Luke pairing that was out there for a little bit did scare the you-know-what out of me. There was a couple breakdowns, and we got pinned a couple times. I mean, listen, the Avalanche are a very good team. And this very well may have been a Stanley Cup final preview. I could totally see this being a Stanley Cup final, which would be a 25-year later rematch from the 2001 finals, which saw our beloved Devils lose in a soul-crushing Game 7 after having a 3-2 lead with the chance to win the Cup in Game 6 on home ice. One that will forever haunt me, and I'm sure all the guys on that team would have been back-to-back Cup champs. Luke Hughes playing 24 minutes. 24 minutes. Siegenthaler with 22 minutes, 2 blocks, 2 hits. And obviously Jake the Snake. What can we say about the Snake? Some big saves when it mattered. 21 saves on 24 shots. You'd love to see it. Jake the Snake picking up his 5th win of the season. It should have been 6th. He did get robbed in that Colorado game. But what a night for this team, and what a night for the defense overall. 3 stars of the game. 3rd star, Connor Brown with that big goal and a big moment of the game. Love to see it. Connor Brown, part of the big revamp of the bottom 6. 2nd star was Brock Nelson, who tied that up, and I guess he got the Avalanche a loser point tonight. 1st star of the game, no surprise, 86, Jack Hughes, 2 goals, including the overtime winner. And I'm going to give my own kind of star recognition. Nemo was definitely deserving. I think actually, I don't know who votes this. I guess it's the attending media. Shimon Nemitz definitely deserved the star over Brock Nelson. I mean, you tied up the game, but who cares? You lost. Like, Shimon Nemitz had 3 assists, including the assist on the game winner. To give Nelson a star over Nelson is pretty egregious, in my opinion, but it is what it is, right? I mean, in the end, the boys in the room know what Nemo did tonight, and he had 3 big apples. But yeah. And overall, another star of the game for my own personal star is just the decor overall. again, guys playing heavy minutes. It may have been a career high for Nemo, at least in a regulation game. He probably played more in some of maybe that playoff game, but against Carolina. But as far as regulation goes, that's a lot of minutes. And now next man up once again. I mean, once again, Pesce is a massive loss to this club. It's super unfortunate. I do think they will be fine in the interim without him, but it really sucks. He's a rock back there for this Devils team, a vet. It's going to be rough, and I hope it's not long, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit. He's definitely not traveling with the team, Keefe said after the game. And so next man up, I don't know who that will be. I think there's a good chance it's Chalowski. I do think Keefe really likes his veterans. I would not be surprised if it's Chalowski. Obviously, there's a chance it could also be Seamus Casey. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. But, another game and another unfortunate injury to this Devils club. And that is why we always talk about depth, my friends. The depth is pretty damn good on this team right now, and you need it to win because it seems like this Devils team may never have every single guy healthy at once. It's just the reality. We may never have a fully optimized, healthy roster. And it's going to be a constant swapping of injured bodies for guys that can play while people heal. It's part of the game. Every team's been dealing with it, but obviously our Devils have had, a lot of injuries and a lot of man games lost over the past few seasons, and they're going to have to just keep fighting with whoever's dressed. And I think it'll be Chalowski, but we'll see. Very interesting to see how that goes. Jacob Markstrom dressed and was on the bench as the backup tonight. So I imagine he will be starting at least one of the games on the road trip. There's no way they're going to play Allen all of those. So who knows? Maybe it will be I don't know. I think they'll give Jake the Avs game. But we'll see. But it's time to get to your comments, folks. We are on an 8-game heater. Let's go. Let's go. This team is for real. Certified wagon. If you're not bought in yet, guys, I don't know what to tell you. This team just keeps finding ways to win. And, the Sharks game we saw, the Sharks game we saw, not the best game from the Devils. Slow start. We're down 1-0. And despite not having their best stuff that night, clawed back, won the game. And tonight was kind of the opposite. Decent start, fast start, get the 2-goal lead. They give it up, sadly. Reclaim the lead, give that up, and then buckle down and get it done in overtime with 5 defensemen nearly for 2+ periods. Finding ways to win in adversity, and this club has been just doing it in all kinds of ways, and that's what good and great teams do. And so far, this team looks like it has the makings of being a great team. Ride and Respect, thank you for the super, sir. Tied an NHL record tonight with 82-83 Islanders for consecutive wins after losing the first game of the season. Hope Pesce heals up quickly. Let's go Devils. That's a very interesting stat. So that's the most consecutive wins after losing the first game. Well, thank you for the super Ride and Respect. Hopefully the boys break that record in the next one and make it 9 in a row. I never want this to end. What a team. All right, let me get to some of these comments. Tasha says, second star should have been Nemitz. Completely agree. 3 assists. I mean, on the winning team, including the assist on the game winner in overtime, definitely deserves it over a guy that scores 1 goal on the losing team. Michael, I love how Grits had a little snarl and completely pile-drived an Avalanche player after the guy took some liberties with Meier. Hit the like. You hit the like for your boy and for your 8-game winning streak, New Jersey Devils. Thank you very yeah, thanks for that, Michael. I always forget to hit the like, but let's go. Sam Hook says, Tasha, yes, I was a Chief Keefe hater last season, but I have since atoned. Same for Allen. Is this you depositing your apologies in the chat, Sam? We all appreciate it. But why did you hate on Keefe last year? I mean, he was given a raw deal with the roster he had on many games with all the injuries and stuff. I mean, it honestly is a miracle we made the playoffs last year. Given everything that had happened, I give Keefe all the credit in the world for getting the team even in the playoffs. I mean, many coaches would have just probably sank like the Titanic. I mean, look at some of the lineups from last season with all the injuries and stuff. It was sad. Jungle Static says Keefe is doing amazing coaching, especially in the forechecking style. John NJDevils45, what's up? Jack leading the national in goals. Let's go. Jack has been activated, my friends. You know, a lot of people were worried. Oh, how could I forget? Win or lose, we booze, guys. I'm too excited on this 8-game heater. Surfside, who's also a sponsor of the Devils now. There's a big Surfside logo on the boards. But cheers to all you guys. What a game. What a game. Prezify, thank you for the super. Hey, Ace, off topic, but did you watch the UFC fight yesterday? 6 months for that just to end in an eye poke. Gon was piecing up Aspinall too. Shame. So you know what? I was watching it, and I was furious. What an anticlimactic. They better book it again. And the eye poke did look bad, but we'll never know. But honestly, there is a chance that Tom just saw an out and was like, screw it. Let me just take the out. Because I do think Aspinall would have won, but Gon did hit him with some shots, and he was in for a fight. Like, it could have went either way. It was going to be a great fight. I was super pumped for it midway through the first round, and then that unfortunate eye poke happened, and it is what it is, but they better rebook it. Anson says, Nemitz is a keeper, in my opinion. I mean, listen, no one wants to at least most people realize that he's just going to keep getting better and better. Super young kid, has shown flashes of brilliance throughout his young career thus far. 3 big assists today. I mean, I don't think anyone has doubted what he can do. It's can he consistently do it? But he's a baby, guys. He's how old is he? He's 21 years old. I mean, wow. Especially as a defenseman. Defenseman takes some time to develop, and he's still very new to the league. Doesn't have a ton of experience, and he's only going to get better. But obviously, I hope he's here long term, but with the glut of defensemen we have, with salary cap situations, he is going to be owed a big payday after this season. And the ton of other defensemen we have, so many question marks on the blue line, but we are loaded. I would love to see him be here long term because I do think he's just going to continue to get better and better. Max says, Gritsuk and Connor Brown changed my life. Yeah. Grits and Connor Brown essentially revamped the whole team. They made the bottom 6 go from 0 to hero, essentially. The bottom 6 last year, non-existent. This year, deadly. Deadly. Jungle Static says, plus Keep is getting a full 4 lines. Everyone looks better more than the sum of their parts. Absolutely. Alex says, glad to be able to experience this with you all. This is exciting stuff, kids. 8-game heater with some very good teams on the list. And for the naysayers and the people that are like, oh, they're not even beating good teams. Like, what planet are you on? 3 basically playoff caliber teams on the road to start the season. Then we finally come home and we get to play the back-to-back cup champs on opening night, and then the back-to-back cup runner-ups on the second night, or the second game at home. And then we get a pretty good Minnesota Wild team at home. I mean, after going to Toronto, then Wild, obviously Sharks, that's one you should win, but they've had our number for a while and have given us problems. And then the Avalanche, who are a very good team, and a lot of people had picked to win the cup this year. So, I mean, to discredit the strength of schedule, if you will, I think is psychotic. I think the teams we've beaten are very good. These are quality wins. And this Devils team just is not relenting. Relentless New Jersey Devils hockey. Glenn says, Jack strikes again. Love it. Let's keep it rolling, boys. Ryder, round of applause for Nemitz and Connor Brown. Let's go. Alexander, Nico's defense in the first was amazing too. Love the captain. Yeah, Nico's been shutting down a who's who in the NHL right now. In the past couple weeks, just superstar after superstar fairly shut down. Anson Meadows, like the stream, comrades. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. The 4 directions, thank you for the super. Nemitz is 21 people. Relax. Yeah, exactly. You have to have patience. People, and I said the same thing about Dawson Mercer, right? Dawson Mercer, I think, is turning 24 in a couple days. People were talking about it like, he has been around forever, but he broke into not forever, but for several years, but he broke into the league very young. Like, it takes time. You're not going to be your best when you're a teenager or 20, 21, 22 even. It takes some time, and this kid is getting better and better. And came up big tonight in a game where he had to play a lot of minutes, as did all the other defensemen. Down Pesci early, and this D-core really stepped up. They really did, but thank you for the super 4 directions. Tasha said, same Ace thought Brown would be an upgrade, but nowhere near this good. I mean, yeah, who would have saw this coming? Like, I expected the upgrade. We talked about it, but it's dramatic would be an understatement. It's like a supercharged edition. I don't know. I mean, as far as off-season additions go, it's almost as good as it can get, honestly, in terms of depth players. He's fit in like a glove. He has some really nice speed bursts, and he turns on those jets and just, I mean, how many breakaways has he had already? I think at least a couple. He has 2 breakaway goals, one of them being a shorty. Yeah, Brown bursts. You just see the trail behind him, and he's gone. All right, safe and effective. This is a true measuring stick, and we won, but we have real work to do. I mean, yeah, of course, but we were playing with 5D more than 2/3 of the game. I mean, I'm ecstatic with the win. Obviously, there's little things that were like, ooh, troublesome, but the Avs are a very good team. There was a couple shifts where they had us pinned deep and on our heels, and they were whipping it around where it looked like a power play for them at even strength. They are a very good team. Rabid Monkeypox, oh my God, let's go Devils. Alexander, who should I wear to the game in Denver Tuesday, Nico or Jack? There's no right or wrong answer there. You can't go wrong with either one, Alexander. What's going on, Devil Heaven 77? Justin, will it be Wedgwood or Blackwood on Tuesday? I have no idea. I thought I saw Blackwood was hurt at some point recently. I'd imagine it'd be Wedgwood, but I haven't followed it too closely. Glenn, not too thrilled about losing 22 on the back end. Yeah, obviously losing, Pesci is gonna sting for sure. A massive piece of this team, and to be without him for however long it is gonna suck. But again, next man up. This team has weathered the injury storm already this season, and now Pesci is the latest guy to join the list. It really sucks, but we'll see who's called up. If I had to bet, I think it would be. Let me think about this. Pesci's done, man. Super unfortunate. Yeah. It's interesting because Chalowski's left. Do they want to plug someone else in on the offside or just go with Casey, who can play both? Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it will be Casey. It's going to be very interesting to see which way they go with that. All right, I got to catch up here. Riders has got 1% on my phone. Will be here until it dies. Hit the like on your way out. Let's go Devils. Sirloin tip steaks on, I guess this was a strip steaks on the grill. Homemade potato salad. Very nice. John NJDevils 45. Glendenning has been great in the faceoff. Yeah, I'm surprised. Before last game, he was, I think, 50% on the season. I think he was going to be a little higher than that. But he's been taking a good amount. And they send him out there in big situations just for the faceoff. Ooh, now he's actually at 49.6 on the season. I just pulled it up. He's taken 123 and 161. So that means he lost 62. Yeah, he's 49.6. It's a tough one because Chalowski's lefty, Pesci's right. Casey is right, but can play left. So maybe it will be Casey. It's going to be very interesting. We should probably get that news very soon, but maybe it will be Casey unless Keefe really likes his veterans that much that he puts someone on their offside. But at this point, I hope it's Casey. The kid has played well for us in various different stretches. I'm sure he's been frustrated and, wants to make the NHL, obviously. And, a lot of D-men on this team. And so he's kind of in no man's land at the moment. But I hope it is Casey. Timo with that insane assist. Timo, How I Got Her, Jeremy Proper, Nico for Selke. He's certainly been making a case for himself early on in the season, just shutting down a bunch of superstars in succession. I mean, wow. What can you say about the captain? So responsible, just the heartbeat of this club. Gotta love Nico. Gotta love the captain. What a monster season for him thus far. And hopefully he gets these boys ready for this road trip. And hopefully this streak just doesn't end for quite some time. Dennis says Brown has been an awesome addition. All right, let me... The art of pivot, being on NHL Network and blackout restrictions stopped me from watching the game. Oh, that's brutal. How I Got Her, Jeremy Proper. Nemitz was shaky, but 3 assists make up for that. I mean, you know, young kid still developing, lots of minutes, but in the end, he came up with the biggest assist of the game in overtime. Jack burying it. 13-child Grits first period was amazing. That was a shift. Forecheck to hit, scuffle, calls the dish, and goal. Yeah. He created that whole goal and then finished it. What a play near the blue line to just battle to keep that puck in, get it to Timo, and then just makes the little soccer kick off the skate right to the stick blade and just sniped it top corner. I freaked out after that goal. I think that's one of the prettiest goals of the Devil season. And there's been several. There's been several pretty goals, actually. You know, Jack has a bunch of pretty goals as well, but that one, that was really nice. Just the way he kept the puck in, got it to Timo, just continued kind of coasting towards the net, and that came right at his skate, and he just went little kick right to the blade snipe show. What a sequence for Gritsuk. I love that kid. He's going to be a beast. Going to be an absolute beast, and you know, maybe he continues on and really puts himself in that Calder conversation for Rookie of the Year. How I Got Her, Jeremy Proper. Grits on Jack line looks good. Grits is going to look anywhere they put them, anywhere he plays. Devil Heaven 77. Grits the Russian sniper, baby. Bore like the next Russian rocket. Well, let's not get crazy. Pavel Bore is a Hall of Famer. Great player. It would be great if he has a career anywhere near the level of Bore. I mean, let's be honest. Different league. Bore, you know, is a different level. But Jake a stud. Matt says, woo! Let's call Grits the Russian sniper. Ace. Going to make a statement here. Please keep in mind I'm 67 years old and been watching hockey since the early 70s. Now, I know player safety has come a long way, but unless Pesce had his eye poked out of his head back in my day, the player would have come back into the game. Oh, Allen. I have to say, Pesce is the last guy on the planet you should be questioning. Maybe some other guys. Pesce is not one of them. That guy is one of the biggest warriors on this team. Eats pucks for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snack time, tea time. This guy eats pucks on the regular, shakes off stingers regularly. You see him limping back to the bench probably 2 times a game, shaking off the wares of just taking a blast of, 8 ounces of vulcanized rubber frozen in the back, in the leg, just taking shots all over the place, blocking shots like a maniac, and regularly coming back in the game. Brett Pesce is one of the last men on the planet I would ever question the heart of. I understand what you're saying, but if Pesce was physically capable of playing, he certainly would have. There's no chance he wouldn't. He would just sit out if he was, he battles through injuries and things. Unless he physically cannot go, he will be out there. And obviously, whatever happened to him was too much to play through. Uh, 13th child. Nemo played today, stood up when called upon. Next brother up. Pesce got hurt on a block shot, I believe. How I Got Her, Jeremy Proper. La. Chance, a chance, please. You guys know how I feel about LaChance. Love LaChance. big physical kid with real nice hands. All of Utica seems to be struggling right now. So I don't know, if he looked good at different levels with the Devils a chance. Development camp, he looked good. He looked good in training camp. He looked good in preseason. I hope he does get a shot at some point. But the reality is, guys, we have so many forwards. Like Dodonov still out with an injury. Lamico. We might see Juho Lamico in the lineup at some point soon. I believe Keefe said he will be traveling with the team. He was injured in preseason, I believe, or maybe it was training camp. I do believe the team planned on using Lamico as the 4C to start the season. And then he was injured, and that kind of paved the way for Glendening to make the team off of a PTO. Will be interesting to see if Lamico gets into a game at any point in the near future. Obviously, we still have Zach McEwen. I think it was a separated shoulder they revealed. So, I mean, we still have so much depth at forward, too, which is a beautiful luxury to have because that's already come into play as well. With Nason's injury, now Nace is back. It's just, it's a lot. Devil Heaven, I just made the call up Rafalski needs. Yeah, right? If only. Tasha Mihoff has been banned. I think at this point, I'm just so tired of it. They're all SST. He was already banned on another one. That one's him. He's saying stupid stuff. That got banned. I got an itchy trigger finger now. And just to keep in mind, the only people that have ever been banned is SST and like various burners of his. And now I think I've had enough to the point where I just don't even want to read or have you subject you fine folks to the nonsense. And so the trigger finger is itchy. And I think I'm just going to keep cleaning up the trash. Larry, I'd like to see them call up Edwards and move Luke to the right side. I like Edwards a lot, but there might be, I think Casey's probably still ahead of him on the depth chart. Maybe Chalowski. I did like Edwards in preseason and camp. And I think he will eventually get his chance. It might take some more injuries, which hopefully don't happen. But I do like Edwards. But he might need a little marination in the AHL. Time will tell. Rob, see, there's a lot of players injured. Any of them coming back soon? I think Lamico is going to be back soon now, or at least eligible to play. Will he get in a game right away? I don't know. I'm curious to see if he's healthy, if they kind of rotate him in and maybe rest someone else and then kind of go back and forth. I don't know. But the fact is, this team has been playing so well, I personally would not want to see too many changes. Ernad says, spontaneously decided to go to today's game. So glad I did. Yeah, you saw a great one. You saw a really good one. Michael, we don't know how long Pesci is out for, but he's not traveling with the team per Keefe on the West Coast trip. And so I imagine it's going to be at least a few weeks based on, we'll maybe find out in the next couple of days. Justin Smith Devils and send Dawes back to the Comets. Jason, hi, everyone. I am back. What an amazing game 8, baby. I saw the highlights since I was at my boss memorial service today. I think Markstrom is back now since Dawes. Yeah, Marky was the backup today. Tasha, if now Ace traveled back in time to March, April Ace, and told him how the team's doing, he would have given him a coronary. For sure. For sure. I did believe in this team coming into the season, though. I did. And it's all out there. There's proof of it. I picked us to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just, who could have seen an 8-game heater against these teams coming? I mean, some people were like, oh, we'd be lucky to be NHL 500 through October. Then the Doomers were like, we're going to win 2 games in October and then everything in between. But, who could have seen this type of performance? I don't think you could ever predict a team's going to rattle off an 8-game winning streak, given the teams on the schedule. AJ says Pesci won't play with the teams who's at least 4 games. Mm-hmm. Devils 8 in a row, feeling pretty nice. Also, first place, it feels like last December when we kept winning games. Let's go Devils, hope for the best. Yeah, but I think this team, to me, has felt like a better team than last year's team. I think most people would agree. Maybe some don't, but it just feels like this is a better team for a variety of reasons. 13 shot, how do we all feel about Lukey's performance? You're going to get the extremists that are like, oh, he's terrible. Did he have the best game? No. But it's going to happen. Again, super young kid. For anyone talking smack on Luke, like, come on, man. The kid just turned 22. And there's still going to be a little bit of growing pains here and there. But he's a very talented player. and only going to get better. Justin says Nemitz has my apologies right now. Tasha, I think without Keefe, we wouldn't have not made the playoffs. You said that a couple minutes ago. Sam, last year was my first year watching hockey, so I have no excuses. What a time to become a fan. You became a fan at a very exciting time. Jason says, I'm so glad I got my Grits jersey. Maybe it's a good luck charm. Anyway, next man up mentality, Chalowski, Casey Edwards to replace Pesce for hopefully the short term. Still depth. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it will be Edwards. At this point, I think it's going to be probably Casey because they don't have to put anyone on the offside. If it was an injury to anyone else other than Pesce, Pesce's the first guy because of how reliable he is the first guy that Keefe would put on his offside in a case of someone, having to do that. But because it is Pesce who's injured, I don't know. I just think Casey might be the play. Lex says, Ace, are you now part of the NJ Devils press? Just curious. I wouldn't say that. I've attended the past 4 games as a media member, but I would not say that I am part of the Devils press. Yeah, temporary. Presify, Dana said he'll be rebooking that ASAP. That's good. My opinion is that today's players are way too soft. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you, Alan. Overall, I think you're probably right, but I would say Pesce is exempt from those criticisms just because he is just, an absolute warrior who eats pucks and shakes it off regularly. No one wants to play more than him. And if he was able to play, he would have stayed in the game, but it must have been something pretty severe. And you are gone. All right. So far, I think I finally got rid of all of SST's names, guys. I apologize. I should have banned all of them a long time ago, but now it's just ridiculous. And it's so obvious when it's him. So now the Suk is now gone. The other name he made is gone. Yeah, Rob, Don LaGreca, best pickup this offseason, 8 in a row. I saw Don LaGreca. I talked to Don LaGreca briefly today before the game, and I was like, Don, 7 games. This is before the game. I said 7 games and 7 pitchforks. 7 times he put a pitchfork in this one, and now he's 8 for 8. Perhaps Don LaGreca is our good luck charm. 8 for 8 when Don LaGreca is on the call. Unbelievable stuff. All right, I got to skip ahead, guys. I fall super far behind because you guys are super chatty. I'm trying to get to more. Tasha, Grits will probably be one of our shootout players. He's been good in his preseason shootout sample. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was during the overtime in my head, I was like, okay, if this does go to a shootout, who is Keefe going to pick? That was going through my mind. Obviously, I was hoping to see the Devils win the game in overtime and not bring it to a shootout. But in my head, I'm like, all right, who, and I don't know who we would have picked. I mean, but Grits would definitely be on my list. And I feel like Cotter has to be there. And so, if I had to guess what Keefe would have done in no particular order, it may have been Jack, Grits, Cotter. I probably would have sent Bratter over Jack just because we all know Jack's career shootout percentage is not very good at all. But we didn't need a shootout. They got it done in overtime, and that was a beautiful ending. Sending the Rock faithful home. Army says Cholo is going to be the call-up. He's our best defensive D-man, which is what we need with Pesce down. Yeah, but then someone's going to have to play on the offside, though. And I don't know who they would do it with. Usually, Pesce's a guy that they would do that with. It's happened before. But because he's the guy that's hurt, I don't know. I'll be very curious to see. We should find out very soon. All we know is he's not traveling with the team, and Keefe said he's not doing good. That's it. Tasha says President's Trophy season incoming. Listen, The Devils, over all their glory years, never won a President's Trophy. It would be cool to win one, but in the end, I really don't care. Just win the thing that matters, the Stanley Cup. Winning a President's Trophy would be cool, but, unless you win the Stanley Cup to go with it, then who really cares? Then you're just regular season champions like the New York Rangers, who Dolan had the audacity to put up a regular season champions banner in the Garden for a President's Trophy win. I mean, how pathetic can you get? That is shameful behavior to put that up as that if it means something. Shoot says, what a win. So pumped for our boys. Yeah, riding high. Riding high onto the West Coast. And this Avs team is going to be pretty fired up to get back home after losing 2 in a row. Jason, also this morning, Hockey Guy put us number 1 in his power rankings for the first time ever. Well, would you look at that? I'll have to check that out later. Shout out to Shannon, the Hockey Guy, the OG hockey YouTuber with his marker boards. Crazy. Dean says, EJ Raddick is an awful play-by-play guy in the ESPN broadcast. Y'all are soft. Grits is impressing me a lot. What's the deal with his contract next year? His defense is great. He needs a new contract after this season. And depending on how he finishes, it could be expensive. So we're going to have to see how that works out. A lot of things to figure out this summer coming up. Larry, call up Edwards, move Luke to the right side, especially since he's going to play some on the right side when Quinn gets here. I mean, what makes you think that, Larry? I don't like that idea at all. I don't want Luke playing his offside whatsoever. Let him just continue to get better where he's at. I don't like that plan at all, Larry, personally. I'm sorry. I have to disagree adamantly. Snow Devil, glad we got the W and kept the streak going, but I did think the Avs looked like the better team and outplayed us. Glad it went our way, but we got to be sharper next game. I don't know if they looked. I mean, I feel like it was kind of back and forth, and it's kind of what I expected. I didn't think either team would dominate. I figured it to be a pretty tightly contested battle. When you look at the stats, I mean, they're pretty even. Shots on goal the same, face-offs very close, hits very close. I mean, everything is super close. I thought there was just kind of ebbs and flow, natural ebbs and flows of the game where the momentum kind of shift back and forth between the Devils and the Avalanche. But overall, I thought the Devils looked pretty good for a lot of it. Obviously, we had those, some of those ugly shifts where they were just cycling. They did like what I call the New Jersey Devils special. There was a couple shifts where they had us pinned and were moving it around so well that they were able to change, if not all their forwards, at least some of them, to get fresh legs on the ice while our guys were gassed and dying. And one of them happened when Luke was out there. I remember it was a very long shift. And I think we got the change because maybe Dawson Mercer deflected a pass up and it hit the net and the whole arena started clapping because we were under siege. It looked like a power play, but it was at 5-on-5. Yeah, Luke was out there super gassed and they were moving it around really good. That was in I think that was this, I don't remember what period it was. It was first or second. But the Avs are for real. Gracie says, I was there at the game. Very nice. Honky Lips, great win today. Love the video, Ace. The team plays well together and for each other. Completely agree. Completely agree. This feels different. This team is different. Jungle Static, if we keep this pace all season, what do you want for the trade deadline to go all in and win now? Don't want to draft our first, second. Plus, we have prospects and put together a good package. I want 3C. I mean, really any forward. 3C would be great. But there's still a long time between now and the deadline. And honestly, if we get a 3C, that probably means Glendening is getting pushed out of the lineup. And I really like him. I mean, listen, if you could get some great 3C and push Glass to 4C and it forces Glendening out, then so be it. But, if this team continues on like this, if you're anywhere near this level towards the deadline, I am a big proponent of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I am always for, obviously, upgrades and bolstering the roster at the deadline. And so we will have to see. I'll always be down for the big, skilled, gritty winger for Jack and Bratter, for sure. But there's still a lot of hockey between now and the deadline. And so, if I had to just say one thing, I would probably still personally always prioritize that special winger for Jack and Bratt over the 3C, but I could understand folks that want the 3C. you know, and then to have Glass pushed down to fourth, but that would suck for my boy Glendenning. He'd be out. Daniel Pino, thank you for the super, sir. Love the Sharks game vlog. So jelly you got to talk to Nico. Had him looking at you and smile. Thought the pretzel snack would have had a higher rating. Thank you for the super, Daniel. And thanks for watching the vlog. If you haven't seen the vlog, check it out. There's a short, you know, there's one from every game so far. They're all similar, but a little different. But yeah, I did ask El Capitan, Nico Hischier, a question after the Sharks game. Didn't ask any questions today, but was in the locker room, was at the Kiev press conference. I didn't really have anything that I was dying to ask, so I didn't do it. I've told you guys before, I don't like asking questions just for the sake of asking them, and I feel like most people do that, which is fine. But I only like to do it if I like have something good or something I think is good. But yeah, it was really cool. The pretzels, I don't know. I like all snacks, I suppose, but more on that soon. But thank you for the super, Daniel. Really appreciate it. All right, let me get back. Ben Jamin says, Amen Ace, Pesci is an animal. He is seriously injured, I fear. I mean, it's just so unfortunate. He plays such a hard-nosed game and just sacrifices his body that it's almost inevitable that he's going to miss time at some point. Like the way he plays is like to his detriment. And that's why you love the guy, just putting his body on the line game in and game out every single night. But eventually it catches up to you and it's like, yeah, how long can your body just sustain the punishment you're putting it through? And that's why you got to absolutely love the guy. Absolute dog, just eats rubber every single night. And this one must have did a number on him, unfortunately. And I hope it's nothing serious. Or then was it confirmed that if it was, I thought someone said something about a high stick as well. Was it confirmed a block shot or a high stick? Whatever it is, it's got to be terrible to keep him out. Louis said, Pesci's not the guy you want to doubt. If he's not playing, you know he's hurt. Yeah, completely agree. Phil says, trade for Kyrou. I want Pasta so much, though, but Boston is doing good. Imagine Pasta with Jack. Yeah, but where is this money coming from, guys? You know, they're already going to have to find a way to be cap compliant when Kovacevic comes back. And now you guys are talking about, you know, adding guys that make good money. It's nice to fantasize, but you got to kind of live in reality. And right now, I don't think, you know, any of these bigger names are any sort of reality without gutting the roster to free up money. Savvy says, what about Edwards? Is he healthy to step in? Yeah, I believe he is. I just think he's a little bit further down the depth chart, and I don't know if he will be the one that's called up. Mark, when Markstrom comes back, will they put Dawes on waivers again? I can't imagine another team doesn't claim him. No, so he wasn't here for 30 days, so they could send him back to Utica without him having to go on waivers. Yeah, I completely agree. If he had to be put on waivers, but he doesn't in this case, just to be clear, because he's getting sent down within the time limit. If there was some scenario where he was put on waivers, I firmly agree that he would not clear. Someone would take a shot on him and claim him. Anthony, I don't get to hate on Nemitz this season. I was hating on him last season, but this season is much, much better. Give Nemitz a bone, people. Guys, did I say he was 21 or 22? I forget. I just said, yeah, 21. 21 years old. I mean, he's still a baby. Bambi, finding his legs and looking good doing it. 3 assists on the night. I didn't see when was the embellishment? I missed it. When I'm at the game, a lot of times I'm like following stuff. That's the other thing I kind of like about, you know, being at the game. Sometimes, like, you know, there's like plays that kind of happen away from the puck that the camera doesn't catch. Like I said, Timo, I thought, crushed a couple people. Like a puck was moved and he come in and like finish his check that might not show on TV. So when was this Nature's thing? Tonight I'm going to go back and rewatch all the stuff. You do. It is 2 wildly different experiences watching on TV and at the game. There's pros and cons to both. Rico says Pesci will be back next game. He needs a little time to heal. Can't believe Nat got away with a lot in this. He's not going to be back next game, Rico. He's not traveling on the West Coast trip. He's not playing for the foreseeable future. Anson says Grits has really good hockey sense IQ. Absolutely. Tasha says Juho Lamico, and let's not forget Angus the Shank Crookshank. Yeah, forgot about Crookshank too. He's a guy that may see time if we see more injuries to the forwards. But I really liked McHugh, and it was unfortunate that he looked pretty good in that one game, and then he gets hurt. We didn't even know it till afterwards. Yeah, I'm just done, man. I gave him way too long of a rope. Like, he's a Devils fan, and he is somewhat, he's knowledgeable. He's been a fan for a while, but just the insane, like, to just talk smack during a winning streak, like, I'm sorry, man. We don't need negatives. Good vibes only, man. And like Fitz said, no heads. We don't need that. Everyone else is cool here. We get along. And I'm sorry for some of you. I know some of you, it really puts a damper on your kind of overall experience here. I know a lot of you kind of found him entertaining because he's such a clown that you guys got entertainment out of it. But I think it really weighs on some people. And I apologize if your experience was in any way kind of, dampered or whatever you want to call it by his nonsense. And I've had enough, only person ever banned. And then now it might be up to 5 or 6 different names, but I'm just done with it. We don't need negativity here. We are on an 8-game heater, folks. Shout out to all of you and our New Jersey Devils on an 8-game heater, just gutting out a beautiful one on home ice against a very good Colorado Avalanche team that we will see in a couple days again in Denver. Maria D, what's going on? Just got home. Beautiful, beautiful win. Can't stand Natchez. I don't think anyone can. Tasha, Ace has banned SST like 100 times, but that was back in his days of just making burners called SST. Yeah, now he's making burners with new names. But he can't help himself, and it's very evident to me and many of you, based on the way the nonsense is said and the subject matter, it's completely obvious that it's him, and I will also those names as well. Because we don't need the negativity here, guys, because we're all Devils fans and we are enjoying our 8-game heater and this beautiful, beautiful 25-26 Devils club that is just taking us on an epic ride. Better than any ride at Disney for 5-year-olds. This is just unbelievable. John, the Avs are going to want our heads on a silver plate when we play them Tuesday. Yeah, absolutely. They now lost 2 games in a row. Lost a close one to the Devils, obviously, today. They're going to want their revenge, and it would be so sweet to go out there and beat them on their home ice, too. BC says, hats off to this team. Yeah, Glass isn't traveling either. Critter Chronicles. Well, everyone knows Plot is one of the worst first liners in all of hockey. Come on. I am very excited about this team right now, so I'm not worried about it. Critter Chronicles, I implore you, for all the people hating on Palat, and this should be enough for you. Jack Hughes after I'll have to find which game it was. It was either the Toronto game. I think it was a Toronto game, but it may have been the Wild game. And they all kind of blend together now with this intense schedule. One of the recent games, Jack talked about how Palat does a lot of stuff away from the puck to make Jack and Bratter's life easier and allow them to do some things they might not be able to do had they not had a guy like Palat on their line. Now, listen, he's going to the corners. He does all the little stuff, and I know a lot of people are like, we don't want to hear about the little stuff, but, getting into the crease and screening goalies. But Jack was very complimentary towards Palat in one of these post-game, interviews, and he also straight up said one of the goals he scored, he's like, if Pally doesn't do what he did there, he's like, that puck doesn't go in. And so while Palat doesn't get an assist, or at least an official assist on the play, if you know what you're looking at, he is just as crucial to the goal happening as the guy who actually passes the puck to Jack Hughes. 13th child. Hypothetically, if you had a daughter, this is crazy. Who might you be okay with her talking to on this roster? Oh, my God. What a question. I would probably say no one. I would be like the overprotective father. And if any of you have seen Bad Boys 2, when Will Smith goes to the door, when Reggie is picking up Mike's daughter and Will Smith is pretending to be the crazy uncle. That's how I would be. But if I had to pick one, I mean, wow. I got to think about that. I don't know. Yeah, that's a hard one. Probably Nico. Quick answer would probably be Nico, but I don't know. Devil Heaven says they're not all going to be awesome, amazing, hardworking, win, team friendly. Yep, that does mean that Souk is gone too. Clipped. M Sharp Ace, you go to so many games, I bet you can pick out who has it for the night in warm-up. No, because warm-up is just, it's very, like, I would say rhythmic. And a lot of the guys, I mean, it's the same basic drills. And then a lot of the guys do the same basic kind of warm-up routines, whether they're, stick handling kind of things. Some of them bank it off the board. They all have their little things that they do. And it's pretty routine. So I wouldn't be able to tell from that because there's not really an opportunity to be like, he's on in that way, at least for me. All right, I fell behind again, guys. I apologize. Let me just... RME, Tuck is nice, but we could use a natural left wing. McCann is the guy I'm looking at. I would like McCann, too. I would much rather have Tuck, though. It was a great game, Natural Canopy. Tosh says, Don, it's that cup tattoo and good luck. He's just putting pitchforks in them left and right. They're all Krungs. The only people I've ever banned is SST and his many multiple personalities. That's literally it. Jason said, you were right, Ace. Casey being called up. Did they release that? Has that been announced on the web? I meant to did you see that somewhere or you just Michael says, Ace, let me get my apology in before you come after me. I was doubting the pitchfork call, but hearing it 8 times has me coming around on it. How about the fact that you've heard it 8 times in 8 games? 100%. Don is just putting a pitchfork in him consistently. And maybe he's the good luck charm, but I mean, wow. 8 for 8. Ben Jam says, imagine where we will all be when the cookie starts winning. I think Carvel is a plant by the by. Yeah, the dessert race, for those that care about that. The in-arena dessert race. Carvel has won every single one, I think. Grits on the shootout. Tasha says, he's really easy to spot. His vernacular makes it obvious. Completely agree. And, like, he thinks he's so slick. It's like, buddy, you're not fooling anybody, at least anybody over 10 years old. We could sniff you out within your first 3 comments. It's going to be something anti-Hughes. It's going to be something about some other nonsense. It's going to beat some, you guys know the typical nonsense. I'm just done with it. No more negativity. Natural Candy says, Ace, the only complaint is the crowd was sleeping pretty much throughout. However, it was a Sunday 1 p.m. game. I will say I do think the team, well, not even the team. I guess there's nothing they could do about it. They try with all the stuff, in the arena to pump up and all this stuff. But I do think the fans need to be a little bit better. But, I mean, I will agree, it was a sleepy Sunday afternoon crowd. It is what it is. I felt that way at a couple of the other games, too. Usually the crowd gets a little more activated as the season goes on. And especially around here, I think everyone, even though both of the New York football teams suck, I guess with like just generic NFL season, most people, it seems like, come around after football's over. Hopefully we get some more boisterous crowds. Michael said, I could be wrong, but I think Dilly played a few games on the offside to start last year. I could totally see that. another vet. But I do think given, it's a tough one. I could see it going either way. But I just think I would rather see someone whose natural side it is than force someone off. But we will find out. Jungle Static, thank you for the super. Great trade deadline. Great teams go all in. Florida, amazing, and still landed Marchand. A winger would be very nice, but 3C maybe more valuable. Full convo worth a full video. Oh, I mean, when the time comes, I certainly will do something like that. That's super far down the line, so I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. I depending on who the 3C is, I could be on board with that. For me, the variable is like who's the players you're talking about, right? So if you're just talking about like, I don't even have a guy offhand right now, but like a middle of the road 3C versus a top 6 winger, then I'd be like, eh. But if you're talking about, I don't know why I've seen recently, I feel like the name Kadri has been floated around since the summer. Like that is to me, like a guy like Kadri. I'm not saying I fully would want him. On the surface, I think I would, but a guy like that for 3C versus a winger, depending on who the winger is, like I could go either way. But a guy like that, I think as a 3C would make potentially a bigger difference than the winger would, but it just depends on who the winger is. So for me, it just comes down to who is the player. But there is a world where I would agree the 3C could be a bigger pickup, if that makes sense. Phil doesn't care about the President's Trophy. Devils, the way Jack is playing, I wonder if we had him last April, would we have made it further? I mean, who cares? I mean, it's over. We didn't have him, but I don't know if he would have been enough to him alone would have been enough to beat the Canes. But obviously, we're a way better team with him than without him. James said, remember when I said Jack Hughes is one of the best players in the NHL? It's fact now. I mean, he always was, but he's been showing out early on this year. John Fay says, do we really want the President's Trophy? I feel like if we win the President, we ain't winning Stanley. I mean, everyone says, there's the President Trophy curse. Like, I can't say that there is or there isn't, but, if you have to pick one, you're going for the cup. President's Trophy would be nice, but in the end, it's, in the grand scheme of things, it is meaningless. Ryan the man. Nico Hischier contract ends at the end of next season, the 26-27 season. We better re-sign him. Don't want to lose our captain. Yeah, I hope. I mean, obviously, we're all hoping that. I do think he re-signs. Hopefully, well before before that date. I think he'll be eligible to re-sign after this season. So hopefully, they get that done. All right, I gotta skip ahead now. Where did they say Casey's getting the call up? I've been looking for it. Did that come out? James says, Ace, do you think Don is loving life going from the loser Rangers to a powerhouse Devils team? I mean, listen, he grew up a Devils fan. He had seen them win the cup in 95. He has a tattoo. Like, I'm sure he told me when I did the interview with him, and he's told other, it's not a secret. He grew up a Devils fan, and that was his dream job, and now he has it. It's great. Phil, I've seen the pictures of Nico with the Devils jersey. I don't know if that, or the Devils shirt, whatever he was wearing. I don't know if he would necessarily was a Devils fan, but he at least had the shirt. I would like to dig a little more on that. Yeah, okay, that's what. Yeah, he played for a youth hockey team that wore the jersey. I thought I heard some kind of explanation. The four directions. I can't believe I wanted Patrick over Hischier. Oh my God. Brutal. Colin says, I listened to the radio call on OT. Shout out to Maddie, Ellen, Chico. Our radio crew is underrated and have been around this team for decades. Oh, for sure. I love Maddie and Chico. I briefly spoke to both of them today. Legends, and they have both been around the team forever. I first became familiar with both of them when they were on TV back, I believe, when it was Sports Channel. For those of you that remember the Sports Channel days, the good old days. Phil says, I wanted Nico over Patrick like 6 months before the draft. Nico was more dynamic. Natural Candy says, Kadri is a dog. Absolutely. Justin, on behalf of everyone in this chat, thank you for banning SST. I mean, enough is enough, man. We're on an 8-game heater. I don't want to hear a damn thing. A damn thing. Tasha says, I want Tucker Thompson. I really want Tage. Sell the farm for Thompson. I just can't even allow myself to believe it's a possibility. I mean, I do believe we have the assets to do it. But his value would be sky high because of how many years he has left at what a ridiculously below market rate contract. Like, oh my God. I'm sure tons of contenders would be looking to just ship all kinds of players and future assets to the Sabres to land him. I do believe he would be like the dream addition for the Devils. Imagine a top line with Jack, Bratter, and Tage Thompson. Oh my God. But I'd be happy with Tuck. Tage would be insane. Phil says Dougie Plot first in prospects. What is that for? I don't know. Would that to package for what? Louis says average fans don't live in reality. The cap. Oh, I know. People talk about it's just like you can't do that. It is funny that most people do talk in a world where the cap just does not exist. Jungle Static says go response, but to push. Good teams go all in. Florida was good, but Ed Marchand has Glendening as depth. Grits or Dad could play with Jack. Generally agree would like that winger, but this is a cliffhanger. Benjamin says, to be honest, Markstrom coming back scares the hell out of me. I'll take the snake all day long. Well, because of how good Allen's played, I do think that, when Markey comes back, if he looks shaky at any point or shaky for an extended period, I do think Keefe will have no choice but to throw Jake the Snake back out there. I mean, it is what it is. Allen has showed he is capable and ready. Tasha says Pasta is crazy and beyond pipe dreamy and also a little too undefensively sound. Yeah. 13 shot. This roster is solid in a 1995 way. Might have to embrace the trap. We have too many guys that like to get flying up the ice to do that. But this is an exciting group. Nate just had to become an Olympic diver again. The camera panned to Keefe's face, and his expression was epic. Oh, no, yeah. Pesci on LTIR. I'm waiting to hear it. Yeah, I read it, Alex. You were sleeping. I read the stat. Justin says, if Pesci's out long-term, will the Devils go after Quinn Hughes right now? No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think Quinn's eventually going to be here, but it might not be till free agency. The Canucks are probably going to hold on until the very, very end. Billy D says, Habs fan here. You got to be happy with your team so far. I picked NJ to win the, you mean Metro? I picked NJ to win the Atlantic and stand by that. I'm assuming you mean the Metro. Get him to call in next time as a potential redemption. No chance. Moracle says, during this 20-game win streak, no negativity. We beat all the best teams. Well, we're not at 20 yet. But, I mean, that would be something. 8 is phenomenal. I'm just riding high right now. Phil says, go after Quinn. You probably got to add Nemitz or Dougie. Then we need another D. Four Directions won't be watching much this week. California games are way too late. Yeah, I get it. It's a grind. It is a grind. The late night games are brutal, but I'll be here. And obviously, if you can't be, you could watch it the next day or the video or whatever else comes out. But I will be here in the late night hours for the West Coast trip. And I'll be up with all you late nighters or people who live in other places where it's earlier, so it's not as bad for you. The post game will roll on. True Patriot Ace. Remember last year when I said to you they will not win 4 in a row a year? That was last year. Man, have we buried that statement with fresh dirt. Yeah, I mean, at some point this year, I predicted we would win at least 6 in a row. And I did almost say 8, but I felt like that was a little gutsy considering we were going on 3 years without a 4-game winning streak. So I was like, not only do we win 4, we win 6. I really did think about saying 8, but that seemed like a lot. Think about it. We are now on an 8-game winning streak. We hadn't won 4 in a row in almost 3 years. And now we've won 8. It's crazy. And looking to make it 9. Tasha says this heater feels like I'm on a float in the lazy river in the Bahamas. Faye says SST has been very negative ever since the season started. He tried to be nice and no longer doomed, but that didn't last very long. Yeah, he just got nuked today. Nicole says next week's schedule is going to be brutal for my sleep schedule. Yeah. Sometimes I would find that I would have to, in previous years, I'd be like, all right, when I get home from work, I'm gonna take a couple hour nap and then wake up at a certain time so that I already have kind of rested for a few hours before we embark on this journey. Morkel says, ban anyone that is not 100% on this train. I mean, listen, the train's pulling out of the station. We're pulling out on an 8-game heater. If you're not a believer now. Michael says it was a Toronto game. Plot wears an A for a reason. He might be overpaid, but he gets dirty, and we need that to win with those two on his line. No, I agree. If he was making, then I've said this a million times as well, if he was making half of what he makes, I don't think people are talking smack about him constantly. But the reality is he gets paid a little bit overpaid or a lot overpaid, depending on how you look at it. And that's why he receives a lot of the venom and nonsense from people. But it's like, it is what it is. What are you going to do? What do you want him to do? He got paid. Natural Cannabis says, smash the like button. Appreciate that. Anson, so many injuries. Markey, Dodonov, Glass, Pesci, Kovacevic, Nason back. Yeah. And Markey's close to back too. He was obviously on the ice for morning skate yesterday or maybe the past 2 days ago. I forget. 2 days ago. And he dressed as the backup today. So he should be back very soon. Dodonov, I don't think we really know. That should be fairly soon. Glass, I think, is going to be a couple weeks. Hoping for the best for Pesci. Kovacevic, probably not till the February maybe. When my first niece was born, I gave my brother-in-law shotgun shells as a present. Insane Pollock says he'll come back with a new name, pretend to be nice for a game or two, and then say something stupid. No, we'll know right away. Oh, you guys are talking about Nico. Dean says, my daughter has a crush on Nico. Would pick Dawson Mercer for her as a dad. Oh, these are such ridiculous notions. Forgot about Cody Glass, too. Maybe he would be on the list. I guess, well, just Cody Glass is married. I mean, this is such a ridiculous hypothetical game. I'd imagine you're talking about, in the hypothetical situation on top of another hypothetical situation that all of these players were not married and or with children. Devils Holic, what's up? Calgary has lost 8 in a row and they play the Rangers tonight. Oh, my God. 8 in a row. Yeah, the best scene in Bad Boys 2. It's going to be chitty, chitty, bang, bang. What a great scene. Jason, I will give Plot credit. He does things that help Jack and Bratt succeed. Is he worth $6 million? No, but he still brings other intangibles to the team. Good veteran presence. I mean, that's pretty much in a nutshell. For sure. All right, I'm trying to speed back up again. Cairo only makes like $6 million a season. I'd see if he was available. Yeah, I was certainly interested in him when the rumors first came up that he was on the block. Whenever I heard that, he had a bunch of years left at a very good cap hit. Devil's Holic says the intro and the music needs a major change. It's the same music over and over. That's probably why the crowd was silent. But that's most teams kind of have their their set, their game. Sorry, guys. I hit the wire. Quick recovery. I'm going to look into that mixer, whoever said it the other night, because when I have the mixer, you can get the heavy-duty plug, and this won't happen. But these micro USBs are garbage. But anyway, most arenas kind of have the set. I mean, they might have slight variations from game to game, but a lot of times it's like a routine. They play this thing at this time and this thing, and it's kind of like set up already. So, it is what it is. I like some of the new stuff this year. The Black Sabbath War Pigs intro in the beginning, I think it's before they come out for warm-ups, is sick with like that crazy red graphic. For those of you that have been to games this year, I think you know what I'm talking about. I do like a lot of the new stuff from this year. All right, now I'm trying to. Sherry says, wore my Bratt shirt again. Was going to switch it up to Mercer, but Devils shorts replayed the Rachel Bratt interview, and I took that as a sign and kept Bratt on. Nice. Amagi says, I want that regular season champions banner at the Rock. We would never put up such a ridiculous banner. Ryan Nova said Casey is getting the call up, so grain of salt. Maybe he did hear that. They didn't say that in the post-game press conference, though. NJ Swamp Fox says, Allen keeps us up. He should be awarded with a long-term job in the Devils organization after he retires. I could totally see that. I could totally see that. Tasha said, the Don interview was great. I was like, why would I be excited about a new play-by-play announcer? But the interview was great and got me hyped up. He's been great. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, most people, when you hear an announcer, for most people, it is something that would be hard to, get excited about. But Don is a beast. He's a different animal. He is a Devils fan. He grew up a Devils fan. He's got the ink. And I was even more pumped up after I talked to him. The interview got me even more pumped up. If you haven't seen the Don LaGreca interview, check it out. I just dropped the link in the chat. Very cool from in the summer. It was like a week or so after he was announced the new play-by-play guy for MSG. Let's see what Casey can do. Dire Wolf, you got to get Chico on the show. My ideal guests for you are Chico and Brian Burke. Both have stories for days. Burke has some great Lou stories, like when he choked out a ref. Oh, man. No, Brian Burke would be. He's such an OG hockey guy. And Chico, yeah, he's been high on my list for a while too. 20-game heater says Morkel, no negativity. Steven says Haminaho, Mercer, 2 first-rounders. What package is that for, Steven? Is that a potential? I'm so far behind here. You guys are a very talkative bunch. Is that a potential Tage Thompson package? I don't think that's nearly enough. Anson says, Ace, you're right. This is a 5-line team. It certainly seems that way, right? It seems like we have enough guys to have 5 decent lines, 5 NHL lines. Jack, Bratt, Thompson would be lethal. Buffalo isn't going to trade Thompson. Yeah, I don't think they will either unless they're kind of forced. But you never know. You never know when someone just kind of wants out. Morkel says, can I propose that we don't booze when we lose? It's just a downer, dude. I mean, listen, no one's forcing you. Ryan Novo released Casey will meet the team in Denver per his sources. I mean, yeah, he's a beat reporter. He's a beat writer reporter. If he's putting that out there, I believe that that's probably happening. Sports Channel and terrible Metro TV. 13 Child, do you think that the line with Grits and Nico will help or hurt Nico's Selke chase? I honestly don't think it'll have much of an impact. I think right now Nico's going to he's going to definitely get a nomination, and I think he's going to have a very good chance to win it. I think Tito is a burner for SST. Yo, Holmes says, wagon. Robin, all aboard the woo wagon. Louis, big win against a big team, and John Woodson and his sound was nowhere to be found. Army sucks that Pesci, in my opinion, our best D-man, is down, but our team is built to win. Our boys put in a lot of work this offseason. Nemo's going to grow a lot in Pesci's absence. Yeah, it's going to be a committee, pick up the slack by committee. Ken says it's a good-looking team. This is the best start I've seen in a long time since I was rocking a PlayStation and playing knee hockey in the basement. PlayStation 1, you say? It's been quite a while since the old PS1 came out. I remember it like it was yesterday. Oh, my God, you guys are killing me. I know the mic cut out. I seen right away. I have to leave to come back in the thing. Tasha says Devils should play more rock and less pop. Yeah, but they're trying to kind of appeal to everybody. Yeah, I mean, the Sabbath opener video is phenomenal. I remember the first time. I don't think they really revealed a lot of the new stuff. I mean, I can't remember. It all blurs together, like I said. The preseason and then the regular season, but I think they saved some of the new intro videos and things. I don't think they played it in the preseason, and they only played it during the regular season. But there's a lot of cool new videos for the season. True Patriot said, I do wish the music would change from time to time. I go to 25-plus games and all too similar. Yeah, I do think they could do a better job of switching up the music, like, I guess, at stoppages and play. That's a complaint I could get on board with. But I do like the set, like, okay, the Sabbath intro video comes on before they come out for warm-ups. Then I could even accept, I would like different music during the warm-ups as well. But I do like the Sabbath, the War Pigs intro video I do like. And then, what is it? Or is it the second period? When they come back to the ice for the second period, it's Running with the Devil. And then the third period is it Metallica Seek and Destroy for the third period? I forget, but those two songs are definitely a staple at times when they're coming back to the ice. And then what else am I forgetting? Oh, and the Hell's Bells when they're coming out after warm-ups for the beginning of the game is Hell's Bells. Like, those are classic. So those I like. But then I guess the music played during warm-ups and then throughout the game at stoppages, I 100% agree. That should have some sort of rotation to it, so you're not listening to essentially the same in-game DJ set list for every game. That I completely do agree with. Faye says, it's nice to see them use Ozzy instead of AC/DC, Metallica, etc. Well, ACD, those are all already kind of featured on a nightly basis as well with the other stuff, at the other points of the game. Robbie's bench boss, Gritsuk for a hypothetical daughter to talk to when everyone is single, the most wholesome one. I mean, listen, he had a kid when he was 18 or 19, so don't let his, his little shy boy Telegram image fool you. Krungs, I would not be surprised if Allen's deal involved a heavily implied job in the organization when he's done, especially since he's buddies with Marty. I always like seeing guys that are here for a while stay with the organization and get a job. So who knows? Maybe he will have, whether it's an on-ice thing or a more executive role. Maybe, Jake the Snake will be a New Jersey guy for a long time and settle down here and, the next phase of his career very well could be a front office gig with our beloved New Jersey Devils. That definitely could be, I think, something realistic. NJ Swamp Fox needs to make the Rock a living hell for opponents to play and burn and need a lot more fan noise. Yeah, I agree. Package for Tage. Yeah, I think that package was a little light, Steven. I think you're going to have to add to that, if I'm being honest. It's a good start, though. Army, I noticed we don't do the crowd version of Rock and Roll 2 after goals this year. We got to get that going again. What is the crowd version? They should play more Metallica at the games. Enter Sandman. 13 Child says Allen stayed because even ESPN and MSG broadcasting's in North Jersey. Yeah, but maybe he doesn't. I'll be honest. If I was one of these guys that made all this kind of money, like, I don't think I'd want to do anything after I was done playing. I think I just want to chill. Like, maybe like a very sporadic job, like a 1 or 2 day a week kind of thing. But if I had all the money in the world and didn't have to work anymore, I can't say that I would. I would do nothing. I would do absolutely nothing and love it. I know people that are like, I would be so bored if I had nothing to do. I'm like, well, speak for yourself. There's nothing better than just chilling. Chilling is my favorite pastime. Don't get to just sit there and do nothing too often, but it is phenomenal. And if I had professional athlete money, I would certainly be thrilled to do that for the rest of my days on this planet. Rico says Thompson S, then his value would kind of drop because they would have to, but they would still get something big. Well, I mean, if he does it, it won't. I'm sure it would be on the low, so it wouldn't be like, it'd be kind of unbeknownst to the people. And in the end, there's a lot of people who'd be interested, so I believe the bidding would drive the price up regardless. DK Jersey Devil says it's early, but you are what your record says you are. Great game. Completely agree. Completely agree. After a tough loss in Raleigh on opening night, this team has played 8 games, not 8 opponents, because they played. Did they play anyone twice yet? Actually, no, my mind's drawing a blank. Oh. Just double check. Yeah. 8 up and 8 down after that opening night loss. You could only beat what's in front of you. Amagi, they don't show any stuff during preseason to make the home opener all the more exciting. Yeah, the preseason, they just kind of give you whatever. The big reveal is opening night. Insane Pollock says Tage will not come here because we traded his lesser talented brother. I don't think that matters. This team is the wagon. This team is a wagon, and I'm sure he would love to be traded here out of Buffalo. And to play with Jack Hughes, he would run at the chance. You talk about the during the stoppages and play. Okay. Second period is running with the Devils, and third is seek and destroy. That's what I thought. Saving, we are the champions for the cup, huh? Hell's Bells. Yeah, all right. So I was right. True Patriot. Sabbath edition was awesome. Would love to hear some other mashups. A DJ is meant to mix it up. Third period, seek and destroy. Alan. Ace, I want to know what happened with the pocket schedules. I'm a collector, and they have stopped since the COVID year. It's funny you mentioned that. I have all the pocket schedules, too. I always thought I loved them when I was a kid and always would grab them as well. And like everything else, Alan, as the years go on, I hate to be that bitter old guy. At least old, maybe not old compared to you, Alan, with all due respect, but old to a lot of the younger people that are here. Everything over time just gets worse. They took away ticket stubs. They took away all the giveaways. There's no more pocket schedules. I still want magnetic schedule night. I love my magnetic schedule, the team calendar, and all those other cheesy giveaways that, 3 or 4 bobbleheads a year. Nothing like the good old days, which also included pocket schedules. Rest in peace to the pocket schedule. There's folks here, Alan, that don't even know what we're talking about. They're going to have to Google it to see what is this pocket schedule these people are talking about. Amagi says he's going to be taken out back and shot by TJ the DJ next time he's there. Oh, boy. Collect records. Don't they play the same list of songs at all arenas during stoppages? No. I always assumed the NHL had to deal with someone. I was at an away game last year and it was all the same songs. Well, maybe there's a lot of popular songs, but in the end, no. I've been to other arenas that are wildly different. David says, Ace, the Jets won today. Hopefully we'll win the Stanley Cup before the work ends now. The Jets are terrible, huh? But I mean, it's a terrible. I heard about Nick Mangold. What a sad story. I think I heard about that right when I was at the game. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. Anton says Nico Dawes seems like a nice kid. He really does. It's a shame. He got his little taste of the big show, had a great start against Minnesota, and now he's back to Utica. What are you going to do? Sherry said, I'd love to hear more Metallica, Disturbed, AC/DC, and Sabbath. And Bon Jovi. True Patriot Ace, I do believe Jake took that contract due to the family wanting to stay in Jersey and settle down. Schools and neighborhood are good where he is. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He said that too. Like, why uproot your family and go somewhere else where, you're kind of situated here already? Then it's a decent place to live, so it all makes sense. Steven would love to see a reverse of the stadium jersey for the new black jersey starting next season. Well, I mean, I don't think they've ever even confirmed that it will, in fact, be a black jersey. But yeah, the reverse of the stadium series has been a front runner, in my opinion, forever. Or just a slightly tweaked version of the old school black starter jersey, which was pretty much perfection, in my opinion. It was perfection when it was first released, and it remains perfection to this day. Yo, Holmes, I'd always keep my pocket schedule in my pocket to make sure I wasn't missing a game. I just looked at the Black Sabbath intro on your vlog. Yeah, and that's probably only a clip of it. It's really cool. Seth, just finished watching the game. Jack with the OT was sweet. Yeah, what a finish. Jackie boy stepping up and getting it done in the big moment once again, extending the winning streak to 8 before these boys head out on that jet plane to the West Coast and hopefully keep extending. 4 games. Wow. Avs, Sharks, Kings, Ducks. This is a nice little road trip. Mangold passing away and Cam Scatterbo dislocating his ankle. A horrible football day for New York. It really was. The Giants are terrible, but what are you going to do? Amagi, Dawes was real nice at the signing yesterday, but Covey, he knows what I'm talking about. What a legend. Yeah, very cool moment you had there, Amagi. Did you get it? You didn't even tell me what other guys you got. True Patriot, really enjoying seeing Gritzy just letting shots rip from all of the ice. He has a quick release and velocity is impressive. Yeah, and he's a sniper. Sniper, picking that corner. P-Funk, I knew Grits was going to be a game changer for this team. 4 Directions, what a great Sunday. Love to see the guys win. Supper tasted way better tonight. And you know what else tastes better? Victory drinks taste so much better than loser beverages when it hits your lips. Brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside. Oh, Frank, I'm sorry. I cracked my knuckles near the mic. Oh, God. Some of you people complain about everything. My God. Army, the 90s black jersey is not 100% perfection. Ace, you nailed it. Majority of people would be rocking it if they made it our third. I would like it to be some sort of variation of that. Maybe just a slightly tweaked, maybe in the past I've said, maybe either the jersey script on the shoulder or the old school Devil's Den logo with the skating devil with the pitchfork on the shoulder. That would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. DK Jersey Devil. I used to buy media guides. They are no more. Media guides were awesome too. And programs. I mean, God, we lose everything. Everything is lost. We have nothing left. We don't have magnetic schedules. We don't have pocket schedules. We don't have ticket stubs. We don't have media guides. We don't have programs. We've lost everything. Everything tangible has been lost. All of it. Jason says, I'm going to the signing event in December. Cannot wait to go. It will be my first time ever going to it. Very nice. I would suggest talking to someone who's been to one already to kind of get the best strategy. I think there is a little bit of strategy involved. Like there's certain guys where it's like if you want them, you might have to wait on that line the whole time, I believe, and not get anyone else. Or it's like you could skip that guy and then try to clean up on everybody else. John Faces Surfside, sponsor the New Jersey Devils and the Running with the Devils YouTube channel. Yeah, that would be nice. I don't know about all that, but that'd certainly be fun. Amagi, I got everyone but Jack, Nico, Glenn, Dylan, Siegs, but I already have Nico, Dylan, and Siegs on other stuff. Nice. Putz Monkey says, obligatory bring back the Stadium Series jersey. I'm pretty sure there's like a rule that they can't. The exact opposite would be phenomenal, though. Natural Candy says, got the Lightning Vegas game on. Gotta wonder if Tampa stays in the shit. Do they sell? They aren't getting younger. I mean, maybe. Are they? I mean, we've all known that they've kind of been on the decline for a minute. Like, are they going to blow it up, or are they going to try to make one more run at it? But it is true. Like, that is a team where if they are completely fallen off, do they ever sort of embrace any kind of rebuild or kind of what is their outlook on the future going to be? It is an interesting thought. Amagi, Jack is really the only one I've been missing for long, so I always just prioritize other guys when I'm there. I want my reverse retro 1 signed by Jack once my friend finishes putting on the kit. Nice. DK Jersey Devil for the next third should do reverse retro 1 or the red and green from back in the day. I just want a black jersey. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm so over anything with the green. Like, I just feel like it's played out and it's time to embrace black. Primarily black, and then there's so many options you could play with. Army collector cups are really cool, too. Would make you happy to pay top dollar for a soda. Completely agree. I have a ton of those from over the years as well. Frank says, I'm the old guy, and I don't miss any of that stuff, all replaced by technology. Well, speak for yourself, Frank. I certainly miss all of it. I like tangible things. Tangible. Not everything has to be digital. Honky Lip says, Bolero Snort is a great brewery in Carlstadt, in my humble opinion. Bolero Snort? I never even heard of that. What the hell is that? I'll have to look into that later. Pyro said... Let's go Devils Ace. Hugs for y'all. Let's go Devils Pyro. David says, my victory drink tonight at the bar was a Moscow Mule in honor of Gritz's sweet goal. What a beautiful goal. Just what a great play to keep the puck in, keep the play alive, keep possession in the ozone, gets it just stick battling, little body, gets it to Timo, and then continues on his merry way. Puck comes back, and he just does a little skate blade to stick blade snipe. Why don't black jerseys have long longevity? Why do you think black jerseys don't have longevity? Army, black jerseys are metal AF. We need one that doesn't have a bakery style script. Completely agree. Completely agree. Frank says, what would we all be doing right this minute without digital? Well, I don't know. Probably watching something on television, but just because we have the digital capabilities to watch an awesome show like the one you're watching right now doesn't mean that because we have digital capabilities to replace all these other things that we should. In my humble estimation, I really would like a ticket stub for the game, and I would like programs and pocket schedules as well. Yes, I fully understand I could get it on my phone and all these other things, but in the end, there is something to be said about having, actual, things, items, tangible. I think a lot of you feel the same way, but maybe a lot of you are digital people like Frank, and you're like, get rid of everything because it's all digital. Honky Lip says, it's awesome, Ace. Trust me, I wouldn't lie to a Devils fan. Army, I've heard good stuff about Bolero Snort and Departed Souls. Devils fans in Jersey City. Natural Canopy hot take. If all the seats in Prudential were black or white, it would pop more. I mean, let's be honest. Red jerseys and red seats aren't ideal. Just a small tweak I would make. Okay. Red Devil, they just need to make the old black starter jersey the alternate and put the jersey script on the shoulders, or just put the script on the front and Devils primary on the shoulders. No. You had the first half I'm with. The first half I'm with. And if I'm being honest, I think that it should be the starter jersey with the jersey script on one shoulder, and then the Devil's Den guy, the skating devil with the pitchfork on the other. That I think would be perfection. Now, I wouldn't hate your second option of putting the script on the front and the Devil's primary on the shoulders. I would like that also. But if I'm being honest, I think that the main logo should be the main logo on the jersey. But I would like the second version you're saying here. I just wouldn't like it as much as if the Devils logo was prominently featured. Army, that black starter is perfection. Anything they'd add to it would ruin it. No, I think small touches would be fine if they were something like what we just talked about. Something, shoulder patches I think would be fine. Robbie's bench boss says hard ticket stubs are such a clutch keepsake, especially for historic games. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. Krungs, it's the same reason why kids are collecting vinyl again. People like items they can hold, though convenience is also very nice with digital things. No, I completely agree. And I'm not saying don't have a digital version of all these things, but I still would like to have the physical version, like before. Program, ticket, media guide, pocket schedule. Crumb says there is a harmony where pocket schedules can exist, but we don't throw out everything digital. I agree, too. You could have both. That's the beautiful thing. You could have both. Red Devil or reverse of the Stadium series wouldn't be bad either. No, that would be amazing as well. Garage Gym updates. If we're talking local breweries that's pouring out for Elementary and Hackensack, those guys were great. What happened? They went out of business? NJ Beer Company in North Bergen are Devils fans, too, and awesome beer. NJ Beer Company? The four directions are, see you lads next week. Hopefully screw this road trip and late games. Have a good week, everyone. Take care. David, I still have the ticket stub from the night they honored Chico. Have it framed in my living room. It's beautiful. Very nice. Sherry, there's nothing like having a ticket stub in hand to add to my collection. This digital stuff sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just give the ticket. Garage updates. Garage Gym updates. Agree, a season ticket holder here and would really like the stubs again. Want to have those to collect again. Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, if enough season ticket holders complained, you might be able to force them to offer it. Now, you'd probably have to pay some sort of printing fee or something, but I believe anyone who wants it would gladly pay the fee. It couldn't be anything crazy. Because I remember not that long ago, they would have, I think it was like booklets or, whatever it was when the season tickets came in the box with the binder. Sometimes it was like the pages. But they had them not that long ago before they finally killed them off entirely. Robbie's bench boss, I have a ticket stub to all 24 of Marty's playoff shutouts, home and away, and it's one of my favorite collectibles. That's very nice. 24. That's a pretty nice collection. Alex is a good mix between physical and digital and the choice for both. Yeah, always give the choice. Sherry says Asbury Park Brewery, best stout. I want to check some of these places out. I've been meaning to. I'm not a huge beer guy, as you guys know, but I do enjoy a nice beer here and there.
Hackensack Brewery or Devils fans doing a cool place to watch games, free popcorn, and the pizza nearby is mad good Litos. Hackensack, that's a hike for me, but let me tab that too. It's actually not that far. Put the Jersey script on one shoulder and Rutt's hut on the opposite. You're nuts. They should have a few kiosks that you can print your ticket after you enter the arena. Yeah, I mean, any way to get it would be nice. It is unfortunate that, you know, we live in this world now where they can take shortcuts and save a couple bucks, and everyone's doing it everywhere they can. Ryan the Man Ace, when do you think we'll see Mikhail Yegorov? I would say he probably plays in college 2 more years. It could be only this year and 1 more year. There's no way. I mean, with they're about to extend Markey as well, guys. So get ready for that. Markey is going to get an extension. So this is 25-26. So yeah, I mean, maybe Yegorov plays 1 more season next season at BU and then goes to Utica for the following season, which would be the 27-28 season. Maybe he goes to Utica and plays there for a year. I still think it's a good 3 years away before you see him on the Devils for sure, but maybe he's in Utica, like I said, after, you know, this season in BU, maybe 1 more in BU, and then Utica. Sherry says we have Asbury Park Distillery here too. No, I love the shore towns. I did a lot of feasting down the shore this summer at all different places. Davy Boy, New Jersey, the ticket stubs are not completely dead yet. I have some from last year. The ticket holders made a big stink to get them. Are you a season ticket holder, Davy Boy? And who did you make a big stink to? I do see that once in a while there's some tickets from each game floating out there, but definitely none of the, you know, like the beautiful season ticket holder tickets they used to have back in the day. Like this is just an old one that's randomly on my desk. This is a super old one. But like things like this with like nice graphics are dead. The only ones I've seen anytime recently are just like the standard box office, which is just like plain, which again is better than nothing. But everyone's talking about Litos. The original Maryland-style pizza, huh? Oh, wait. Is it Leto with the E? I have so many tabs open on my computer right now, it's going to explode. No, this is pulling up something in the city. Cosmos Deli. This looks like an interesting place. I think I have a buddy that lives in Hackensack. Maybe I'll have to visit him just to try these places. Honklips has set up a run-in with the Devil's bus tour of breweries. NJ can drive. Oh, man. Red Devil, black starter jersey with shoulder patches depicting a diner, and in the script have it say, "This is Jersey." That's pretty funny. The Lido? Lido's. All right, hold on. The Lido. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of the outside. It says returning champion, world famous open slice steak sandwich, and you guys are raving about their pizza. Yet they have a banner outside for a world famous open slice steak sandwich. It's interesting. I might have to go there and just eat my way through Hackensack. Oh my God. It's thin crust pizza. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to look into this. Hello, Octane 204, Rail Fanning Productions, Red Devil Ace, everything at the Lido. Am I saying that right? The Lido? But try the vodka sauce pizza. You can thank me later. I haven't met too many vodka sauces that I don't like. And I also like vodka sauce pizza. Army says Lido's got an 8.1. That's pretty, I mean, it's good, but the way you guys are raving about it, I would have expected closer to a 9. Hit up White Mana sliders while in Hackensack. Nothing better. Tito, do you think Jeremy Brodeur will ever start for the Devs? No, I do not. Unfortunately, we just have too much. We're just too deep at goaltend. In goal. It would take a lot for that to happen, I think. Oh my goodness, says White Mana is still the crown jewel of Hackensack. DJ Devil, yo, Jack is going to win Art Ross, Hart, Ted Lindsay, Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe. Oh, man. That's a lot of hardware for one guy to win, huh? You think he's going to win all that? I mean, no one would be happier than me if he did. That would be quite a season. Quite a season. All right, folks. The Devils are on an 8-game heater. I mean, this is just pure insanity. No one saw this coming. If you said you saw it coming, you're full of you-know-what. I did believe this team was going to be much better this season in terms of, what they would do in the playoffs and such. But I can't say that I saw this level of play this early. And, yeah, only off tomorrow. And then Tuesday night at 9 in Colorado. Poof. Ooh, that's a big 4-game road trip coming up here. And the boys could really put themselves in a nice position for the rest of the season with a decent showing on this trip. Avs, Sharks, Kings, Ducks, and then 3 days off before coming home for another 3-day homestand. Yeah, we won't see them back at home till the 6th. It's wild. Wild. Dana says, the stream is coming to an end when we get to food reviews. Love you and can't wait for the late night West Coast streams. Everyone started talking. It wasn't me this time, I swear. Everyone else started talking about the food. Yeah, David, I'm with you. I'll just settle for the Stanley Cup. Red Devil, if you go to Hackensack, go to Cubby's Barbecue and get the open slice steak sandwich on toast and an all-the-way Texas wiener. Okay. Alex said, I'm not going to be able to be in the West Coast post games, but see you all eventually. All right, guys, this is the portion of the show where I use the bathroom real quick and we start winding it down. Devils beating the Avs 4-3 in overtime on a Jack Hughes skate-off goal. His second of the game and 8th of the season from Shimo Nemitz with his 3rd assist on the night. And the Devils are on an 8-game heater before heading out west. Wow. Think of anything, comments, questions, suggestions. throw it out in the chat. I'm using the bathroom real quick. Back in 2 minutes. We'll start winding this thing down. Appreciate you all for joining me on this fine Sunday evening where the New Jersey Devils passed the latest test in the Colorado Avalanche at the Rock in overtime, extending that heater to 8 games. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Back in 2 minutes, and then we start winding it down. Thoughts, comments, whatever you got, throw it in the comments. Be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. This thing's annoying. Can you guys confirm you can hear me? It's showing on my side that it's working. Can someone just put in the chat that it works? Anyone? Anyone? Thanks, Sherry. All right, let's see. Ooh, Faye. I feel like our 8-game heater stops at 10, ends in either the Kings or the Ducks, but I hope I'm wrong. We keep this thing rolling for a bit longer. Imagine they somehow find a way. Imagine a world where they find a way to win all 4 on the road and come back with the chance on home ice to tie the franchise record, 13-game heater, and then have the chance to break it on home ice. That would truly be something special. But I mean, it's obviously crazy. I hope that's the case, but we're asking for a lot here. I mean, let's be grateful for what we have. An 8-game heater is phenomenal. They should do a game watch at the Hack Pack. What is the Hack Pack, Maria? Man, you guys are talking about all this food. I shouldn't eat. I probably should not eat food again till what's today, Sunday? After what I ate today and what I've eaten on this 4-game homestand, right? It's been a 4-game homestand. Or maybe not technically a homestand, but 4 games kind of in a row. Was Wild, Sharks, Avs. Who am I missing? Who am I forgetting? I guess the Oilers. Yeah, because we had the one in Toronto. Yeah, but in the past, like a little over a week with those 4 games I went to, I probably ate enough food for a year. Today's Sunday. I probably shouldn't eat solid foods again until like next Thursday. Tragic. Tasha says, same, the Kings will be a test, especially with Devils legend Brian Dumoulin there. I mean, shout out to Dumo. He had a great playoffs for us. And if we didn't have so many defensemen in the mix already, I certainly would have wanted to bring him back. But we just don't have a spot for him, obviously, or the money. Guys are talking about more food. Dave says 14 in a row, do it. I mean, that would be to set a new franchise record for consecutive wins. That would be insane, especially given all the injuries and things that have already happened. I mean, that would be a real statement. David saying Kings. Jack, because I was talking about at home. I was talking about at home. Tasha said, shouldn't eat food again. Go sit in Gen Pop. Rather than all you can eat buffet, go drop $25 on a tiny burger and 5 fries. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and again, I would like to thank the organization, the New Jersey Devils, for having your boy as a credentialed member of the media. Great times these past 4 games. It's been cool to kind of mingle with a lot of people and say hello to people I've never met before. I talked to Adam Hamway for a good time, a good amount of time today before the game in the press area. The Devils in-arena announcer, really nice guy. I talked to him for a while. Briefly talked to Don, just to see these people and talk to them. I've talked to most of them in the past in some capacity, somewhere or another. I do go to a lot of other events, but to see them, at the games and be able to kind of mingle and just talk hockey or whatever else with some of these people is really cool. So definitely special thanks to the Devils for having me, and special thanks to my boy Brian. I thought I was going to sit in the press box today because I had the pass. And I was on the way to the game, and he was like, my buddy that was going to take my tickets for today can't use them. Do you want them? And I was like, yes, I do. Thank you, Brian. So thank you to Brian once again, always hooking your boy up. And as a result, I ate way too much in the Hyundai lounge with one of my other buddies. What a time to be alive. Feasting on arena food. Jay Snow says, losing Pesci's a monster hit. Yeah, next man up. Got to find a way to weather the storm. We've been dealt injuries seemingly every game this season, and it sucks to lose Pesci. He is, I would say, easily the biggest injury loss thus far on the season. Obviously, all injuries suck, but the prior injuries were to depth players that the team was easier to kind of withstand. Pesci is a pretty substantial one. Now, hopefully with the depth, it's not a make or break. Obviously, we are a much better defense and team with Pesci in the lineup, but I do think we will be able to weather the storm for however long he's out. It is unfortunate, but hopefully whoever gets called up, probably Casey, looks good and however long he's got to be here. Army says, can we start this road trip on a heater? Wonder if Quinn going to jump in Jack's suitcase. I don't think he's going to jump in a suitcase, but I do think he will be here at the latest, July 1st, 2027, when he will be an unrestricted free agent and he's free to sign on the line that is dotted. Tasha said Quinn hasn't had the best start so far offensively. Still very early in the season. Jay Snow said, look how different that blue line looks with Casey. That's a little worrisome. Yeah, it's obviously a hit. But what are you going to do? We got guys going down, and Pesci's the latest one. It really sucks. But hopefully we don't really skip a beat. This team has dealt with a lot of adversity already on the young season, and currently on an 8-game heater. Faye says losing Pesci may hurt us a bit. I fully expect that. David Ryan gives Casey a chance, if it is in fact him. Jay Snow, it's going to be Casey's defensive game that's going to be tested. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I wonder if they leave Luke and Casey as a pair, or do they switch it up a little bit? That'll be another interesting thing to see. Do they have faith in them as a pair, or do they put Casey maybe with someone else and give Luke a different partner? We're going to find out. Sherry, you should be a credentialed member of the Devils. It's about time. Thanks, Sherry. I'm definitely not. It was kind of a temporary situation, which I'm very thankful for. Would like to be able to do it some more, but we will see. Certain things are out of my control. They are. Tasha, mostly smoked is 50 minutes away from me, but if we're in the area, we'll definitely try. What is that? Another food place you guys are talking about? Frank says, getting injuries early this year. Maybe this time around we're healthy during postseason. Fingers crossed. That would be nice, but that's why you need depth, guys. Like I said, there's a chance that regular season and playoffs, we will never see a time, and this is unfortunate, but it could be the reality. We never see a time where our entire roster is healthy at once. That's very possible, including the playoffs. It's very possible. No one else can compare to Pesci, not even close. Completely agree. Whatever, somehow we're getting the good hand dealt with injuries compared to other teams. I mean, yeah, if you're like, oh, none of our biggest star players have went down yet, but that's happened in previous years. Casey's getting called up. Tasha said, Casey as the power play one quarterback was crazy. I don't think anyone questions his offensive upside and skill. Complete monster. Great puck handling, skating, shot. I think, Keith's biggest concerns about him is obviously, in our own end. We saw some scary shifts last year, but I think he'll get better at that too. Also a young kid. Ted says Jack Hughes is him. Jack McCabe, something tells me they are going to go with Chalowski at Colorado. Chalowski has been around the team and maybe the better option immediately while Casey gets reacclimated to the NHL level, but we will see. Yeah, I said that earlier. I thought it would have been Chalowski, but then after thinking about the sides to not be forced to play someone on their offside, Casey makes a lot of sense. But Keith does like his vets. Jack says I could see them throwing Casey in San Jose for sure. Steven said, anyone notice that Timo is he? I did not notice that. Tasha said the barbecue Sunday from Red, White, and K is just so good. And it's a good thing we don't live close because they're so good. Yeah, someone else said the Jets won today. Yeah, they must have did it for Nick Mangold. David said, good teams overcome injuries will be fine. But I think they will overcome it, but it's just been a lot of injury, just injury after injury. Insane Pollock said Stephen Ace is going to come after you with that comment. Tasha said his Timo slowly looks fine. And then Steven said it looks like he's got that fridge on his back. That didn't register with me today. He definitely trucked a bunch of people, and I think he only got credited with 2 hits, which seems a little crazy to me. I feel like he's getting gypped on his hits. Gonna have to take a look. I think he could be getting ripped off. If Timo looks slow, it's not a good sign because he's not a slow skater. Hope he's not banged up. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he was just laboring. He had a bunch of physical plays. Maybe he just was a little hampered, a little sore or something on one of the shifts you're talking about. But I did not notice that. Steven, I guess I'm just used to seeing Jack and Bratt break out up the ice quick and makes everyone else look slow. Yeah, compared to Jack and Bratter, everyone is pretty much slow. Selected Boy, what's up, Devils folks? And Ace, what's going on, Selected Boy? Jack, how do you think the pairs come together with 22 out? I just talked about that a second ago. I'm curious if it is Casey, do they trust a pair of Luke and Casey, or do they put Casey with maybe a more stay-at-home guy, and put Luke with someone else? That would be interesting. I always like pairing one of the young guys with the vet. And so I've said before, I think, that even in the world when people were talking about trading Dougie this summer, and even today we saw it, I don't like putting 2 young guys together. And briefly after Pesci was hurt today, we saw Luke and Nemitz out there, and they got pinned at least once badly, pinned deep in the zone and just getting worked. So I would like to put Casey with a vet. And so I don't know. We're going to see. It might not even be Casey. Frank said Timo took another high stick that wasn't called, but yes, I would say this wasn't his best game of the season. Casey and Luke were partners at UMich, right? Maybe better than Nemitz and Luke. They brought in Seamus Casey to fill in for Brett Pesci. Was that announced somewhere? Everyone keeps saying that. Oh, they said Novo said it. I mean, if he heard that, then I'm sure it's accurate. Steven said Dougie's defense still worries me. It definitely doesn't worry me, Steven. Dougie's just fine. Tasha, I mean, Dougie's been way better defensively this season, so Casey might be paired with Siegs or something. Yeah, we have a lot of options. Jack, I would figure it has to be a young guy and a vet pair. Hughes, Nemitz, Siegenthaler, and Hamilton keep together Dylan with Casey. Yeah, I mean, something like that could work. Although I don't love Hughes and Nemitz together either. I don't love that either. But if I had to, I would risk that over Hughes and Casey. Okay, Devils have officially announced the recall of Casey. Oh, baby. And the latest chance for young Seamus. Young Seamus is making his season debut. Let me see, where did they announce this? I still don't see it announced anywhere, but I'll trust you guys. That McKinnon line is nasty with Makar. I mean, McKinnon's a beast. One of the best players in the league, and he's electric. I mean, he's a monster truck of a man too, with speed and everything. Yeah, he's a guy you got to watch for. Jack says every time McKinnon and Makar on the ice, that's like a PP nuts. Hughes with Siegs would be lit. Faye, all I know is it's going to be a war this Tuesday as the Avs are going to be looking for blood, for sure. For sure. Jason says Siegs is our best D-men right now. Tito, I think they need to split Casey and Luke. Jack says I would never do Hughes and Casey. Too much risk there. I do agree. Selected boy, that was a pretty difficult game for the Devils. I mean, playing with 5 defensemen for 2+ periods is a lot. Frank, Devils got pinned almost 2 full minutes after Mercer giveaway. He made up for it later in the game with some splendid play. Tassos has a chance, you say? A chance? Jason, no, I hate the Mercer at center thing, but another injury. Yeah, I mean, they didn't want to put him there, but, you know, necessity dictated it. Glass went down, and what were they going to do? They said, he's going to 3C. David says, Amanda Stein tweeted, Casey has been recalled. Okay, Army. Casey's going to be good. Kid works hard off the ice. Grew up a Devils fan, a lot of heart. The Devils account also tweeted Casey had been recalled. I did not. I just looked at it, and I didn't see it on the Devils account. Oh, now I see. They retweeted. Okay. Yeah, it's because they pinned some stupid, one of those meme things. Casey is on the way. Jason, we need another top sixer with some jam. I would love it. I would love it. Tasha, was Casey a Devils fan growing up? I don't think I heard that before. Someone just said that. Jason, what do you think about Blake Coleman? Calgary's awful. I don't think he would cost that much. I would like him. I just go to the same thing. Anytime anyone throws out a name, I always say the same thing. I'm interested, but is that the best we could do for the resources? That's all. But Coleman, I would definitely be interested in. He was always a guy, I think even last year, maybe even last year, I said something along the lines of, I wish we still had a guy like Coleman on this team. You know? He's definitely a guy you want to have for the playoffs. Nice little piece. I would explore anything and everything. I would like to see a Pickles return, but if somehow they could, again, I think it's kind of pipe dreamy in terms of cap, but like Kadri, I would love. Kadri's a dog. Kadri on this team would be, sheesh. Let me see. What is this? I think he makes $7 million, which is not cheap, but given the new kind of cap world that we're in, yeah, but that's the thing that sucks. He's 35 and he's got this year and 3 more. That's $7 million at 35. I mean, oof. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that one. On the surface, I like it, but with the $7 million with 3 more years after this season, I just don't know. But I think he's kind of in the world of the thing we need. Keeping up the Devils, we don't need another top 6 winger. How about Dadonov? This guy's name always messes me up. Dadonov. I have no idea what we're going to get with him, to be honest. I don't want him in the top 6. If he plays there and is great, then fine. But when we signed him, I thought it was a good bottom 6 addition. But then when it's like, oh, he's going to play on the top line, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But now I think Palat's kind of stapled there, if I'm being honest. Outside of us getting some big splashy name, I don't think anyone else is going to – I think it's going to be Palat's spot. Army says Casey was from Florida, but has family in New Jersey. When to visit often, he was a Devils fan. That's pretty cool. David Ryan says Pickles. McCabe says thoughts on Nason so far. I mean, what kind of? I mean, he's playing like 7 minutes a night. I mean, there's not much to really. There's not really anything to. He's just trying to get back to game shape and get his touches. I mean, so far there's not, like I said, there's not really anything to go off of. You got to give him some time. Jason says not as a deadline move, more as a tinkering piece. Tito, if Casey is running around getting pinned, how long does he last with the team? Not long, because there's other options. If he doesn't look good or he looks overwhelmed, then they'll bring someone else in. But he's going to get a chance. Jason says, saw an interview, they mentioned Kadri to NJ, and they said they don't see it being an option. Who was that? I don't think it's a real. I don't think anybody making any sort of. I don't think anything's a realistic option. Like I said, Fitz is still going to have to find $4 million to be cap compliant when Kovacevic comes back. So you're already looking at he's got to be creative. And then to add someone else, it's going to require a sizable trade. I agree with that, Snow. Rich Reynolds, this team is a force to be reckoned with. Allen is an absolute monster. Can't wait to see the boys live out here in Colorado on Tuesday. Oh, that's going to be awesome, Rich. Good for you. Good for you. B, just wanted to mention, traveling right now, I saw 2 people wearing Devils jackets in Paris, France, but when I was in Newark Airport during the Sharks game, not a single bar was showing the game. BS. That's why you got to have it on your phone. Jay Snow, the Donov's not gritty at all, and he's not great defensively, so I don't want him in the top 6. I don't think he will be. Yeah, Tasha, Nason's been playing super limited minutes. Very, very small sample size as he gets used to it. Steven, I see Kadri's cousin when I go food shopping on Sunday mornings. She said his dad is a – oh, boy. Jack, Ace, Gunterhead Kovacevic is back and healthy. The blue line is completely fine. Who is the odd man out and what happens with him? Oof. Man. Who is the odd man out when Kovacevic comes back? I mean, it has to be Nemitz, right? I mean, it has to be Nemitz. And I think that's where a lot of people have speculated, like, you know, when Kovacevic is back, maybe at the deadline, is Nemitz possibly moved? And it's going to suck. And I love Nemo. Like I said earlier in this live, I wanted to see him be here long term. But the reality is, with the amount of defensemen we have and the cap situation and the fact that he's going to be owed a chunky raise this offseason, he's definitely the odd man out, for sure. It's definitely him. And so what does that look like? It could be a trade. It certainly could be a trade. Jay Snow said, I think Cotter and Ace want to make a 6th fourth line. You need that heavier fourth line who could bang and score some. Potentially. But I don't think we're going to see that for a while. I still want to see Cotter get just one full game with Jack and Bratter to see what he could do. Yeah, keeping up, it is going to be Nemitz. Depends on Nemitz's game. Frank says maybe Covey's the odd man out. No, it's definitely not Covey. He has trade protection, and everyone talks about how much they love him and how he's part of the team. And so it's definitely not going to be Kovacevic. He will be on the ice. Steven said, I'll take Kovacevic and Quinn over Nemitz and Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, that could be a new look. Right side of the defense for sure. That very well could be. But I don't think Quinn's going to get traded. Tasha, this is a contract year for Mercer too, right? No. He signed a 3-year before last season. So last year was the first year. This is the second year, and he has next year. So next year will be his contract year. Yeah, Kovacevic is not going anywhere. Sharon Govich is getting healthy scratched, isn't he? I thought I just read that. Yeah, again, back to the point of when people killed Fitz for that Toffoli trade. Look at Sharon Govich now. Trading for Toffoli was a win-now move. You guys know I'm a win-now guy. We went on that. We had that great 22-23 season, 112 points, beat the Rangers in 7 games. And then Fitz was like, I'm making a push. And he traded for Toffoli, and I loved it. That was a win-now move. And people were bashing Fitz, because then Sharon Govich had that great year in a contract year in Calgary. Had a great year, and people were like, "Oh, look at Sharon Govich. He's, look what we traded for Toffoli." And then the guy got paid, and then he was trash last year, and apparently he's trash again this year, and he's getting healthy scratched. And so, really, you have to look at it and say we lost nothing there. We lost absolutely nothing there. Johnny Two-Tone says, if Nemitz is on the trade block, you are getting something significant in return. Maybe. David Ryan says Palmieri. Nah, that's not a redo I would like to see. Liked Palmieri when he was here, still like the guy, but I think we need someone with a little different type of ingredients than him. Tasha says Sharon Govich is a free agent, could snap him up for cheap. That would be hilarious. He's been scratched recently. No, I'm out on him. I'm out. Rob, Devils are stacked with D-man. A trade has to be made or Fitz is going to let players go for free. No one's going for free. I think it could be Nemo, if I'm being real. I hope we don't find out like Pesci's like out for like a while. I mean, that would be brutal. Jack says, no more riding with young guys and seeing what they got. Not on this team. Win now. Completely agree. We should be in win now mode for the next 4 or 5 years, and we should trade all first-round draft picks. No interest in drafting. Cash those suckers in for win now pieces. Yeah, Toffoli's definitely never coming back. David says, Sharon Govich, 2 points in 7 games. Guy builds a heck of a Lego structure out there in Calgary. I'm not sure what that means. Zach is a guy that people have talked about. That's probably the most interesting retread to me of all of them. And I guess Blake Coleman. But like Palmieri, I think I'm out on. Pavel Zacha as a 3C would be nice. That one I would certainly be interested in. Yeah, I mean, wow. Since he left the Devils, 22-23, he had 21 goals, 36 assists for 57 points. Then in 23-24, he had 21 goals for 38 assists for 59 points. Then last year, 14 goals, 33 assists, 47 points. Damn. 28 years old. I would like him. James said, on a different note, Halloween is coming up. You should dress up as Putty for Halloween. I can't do the paint. Doug says, what a start to the season, Ace. You ain't kidding, Doug. A disappointer in Raleigh on opening night, and then followed by an 8-game heater. An 8-game heater. Doug, Markey back for this road trip. I hope he can get his season going. Yeah, so do I. So do I. But the nice thing is that obviously Jake the Snake has proven himself last year, and then beyond, he's proven it this year. And so if Markey falters or there's any sort of signs of, trouble, Jake the Snake can be called upon to do his thing. And he's been doing it all season long. Jake the Snake, what a legend for signing that contract in the offseason. And like I said a couple streams ago as well, and we have a third guy in Nico Dawes who I truly believe in and think he's capable. And so to have 3 NHL quality goaltenders is a beautiful luxury to have. You need depth everywhere in this league. People get hurt nonstop, and you just need to have guys constantly ready to go. David's correction, 1.0 goals. Doug, hit that like, Devils fans. 8-1, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Courtesy of a Jack Hughes overtime. Winner, chicken dinner. The winning streak continues. Jungle Static agreed on cashing in picks for win now, but time to start thinking what that would mean. Well, it means trading picks for players. Keeping up with the Devils, we're still talking about trades with our boys in 8-1. All I'm saying is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been saying that for weeks. Jack says, whoever the Devils acquire needs to be someone with speed. With the additions of Brown and Gritsuk, we see how much damage this team can do, and their identity is speed. Agree, but they're both very good players as well. But speed is obviously part of it. And they both got some grit too. Jack said, as opposed to the last offseason or two where the goal was to get heavier, while I agree with that logic, the Devils need to stick to a team that ultimately speed first. But in the end, that offseason was defenseman heavy, right? So we got Pesci, Dillon, traded for Kovacevic. Dillon and Kovacevic are definitely heavy. But the forwards were Nason and Cotter. Nason's not a speed demon, but Cotter is. So I feel like there is this narrative like Fitz overcompensated and got all these slow, crappy guys like a couple years ago. And it's like, who did he get? We got 2 forwards, Nason and Cotter's not slow by any stretch. So I think people just kind of, I don't know, have kind of kept repeating that kind of train of thought. And I don't think that it's necessarily true. Puck Rock Rangers, damn, you guys are out to a start. MIR needs to wake up. Sluggish start and boring game so far. So sorry, Puck Rock. Couldn't have happened to a nicer team. Henrique, I think I'm passing on that too. I wouldn't be furious, but I don't know if that's going to really move the needle either. Jack says, what if Markstrom completely craps the bed in his next couple starts? Does Allen become the 1A? I don't think right away, but that's obviously on the table if this is some sort of if it happens multiple times. I don't think one bad stretch would cause him to lose that spot. But if he has like maybe 2 of them, I could see it. It's definitely a possibility. James says, bring Brady to NJ. That dream died for me a long time ago. Tasha Ace, what did you think of LaGreca saying Jack's the best player to wear the Devil uniform? Does he mean like ever? I'd have to hear the full context. Jungle Static, I do worry just a little if our goalies will be able to take us through 4 playoff rounds. Each is good, but we'll need one standout. Still, if Kemper and Binnington were fine, Yegorov the future, though. Listen, if we have to have multiple goalies play in the playoffs, it's not ideal, but I think we still have a chance, even if you had multiple goalies playing. Snow said, but when the playoffs come, you need more depth and grit. Yeah, you need guys that are going to be willing to do what it takes to win. I would love like another, a Timo type. Tuck would be great. I'd take Pickles. Trade for Thompson. Tuck or Thompson. Jason, no, Florida was already champs and they brought in Marchie. You could agree they don't make the cup without him. Listen, If it wasn't for Sam Bennett having an all-time playoff, Marchand may have won the Conn Smythe as most valuable player in the playoffs. He had an insane playoffs. And don't forget, Florida, to your point, as defending Cup champs, before Marchand earlier in the season, they got Seth Jones. I mean, what a legend Bill Zito is. Their GM is an absolute legend. Sherry says, let's go night-night. I'm tired and you're yawning, Ace. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap it up here. The comments keep coming in, and now we're back to hockey, so I'm getting fired up. Frank said, Fitz did a good job getting heavier and not compromising our speed. I agree. Tosh said, no, I definitely think Florida wouldn't have won without March. I thought he should have won the Conn Smythe. Bennett had an all-time run, but Marchand was right there behind him. It was a mistake trading Henrique for Vatanen. And yeah, but it was in those years where it wouldn't have made a difference anyway, unfortunately. He said Jack's the best player forward-wise to wear that uniform. Like, is he talking about ever? If he's talking about ever, I guess I'd have so many follow-up questions. Like, if you're talking about as or while they were New Jersey Devils, he's certainly up there. If you're talking about, like, career, I mean, he's so young, you can't give him that. But I guess if you're just talking about how skilled he is or the level of play in any one season, then it could be accurate. But I'd have so many follow-up questions. So many follow-up questions to that. James, I don't know if you heard Don LaGreca calling the Devils game, but he's my favorite commentator since Doc Emmerich. Yeah, Don's the man. I love Don. I actually talked to him today briefly before the game. I said, Don, you got to put another pitchfork in it tonight. Put pitchfork in this one tonight. We got to go 8 for 8. And Don LaGreca is now 8 for 8 as the play-by-play guy for the New Jersey Devils. What an amazing start. But I love LaGreca, and he's my favorite since Doc as well. Doc was all-time legend. Man, to have Doc calling Devils games during those dynasty years with all those legends on the ice, wild. He said best offensive player. I mean, okay. And like I said, in any one given season, maybe. But career, he's got a ways to go. Jungle Static, do multiple goalies playing in the playoffs win cups, though? Honest thought, last I can remember was the Pens. I think it was. I mean, it's not ideal. It's certainly not ideal, and I would never, use that tactic unless you had to because of injury. But with that being said, that's kind of how this came up. It was like if someone gets hurt or gets fatigued and they start showing wear and they start playing badly, like you'll have another guy to throw in there. But obviously that's not ideal. You want a workhorse to bring you all the way to the cup. Oh my God. Woodson is out of his mind. Tasha said if Canucks are out of a playoff spot by the deadline, I think Quins goes bye-bye. I don't think so. I think they're going to hold on for dear life and still try to convince him to sign there. I can't see them trading him just yet. I really don't think they could do it. Kovalchuk was pretty good, Puck Rock, for sure. Nettie. Jay Snow. Bennett becomes a different player in the playoff start. Yeah, he's a beast. Beastin'. Zupamaki, thank you for the super. Our time is now. Let's go. Could not agree more. Zupamaki, the time is now. This team is a certified wagon. 8-game heater heading out west. The time to win is now. And by now, I mean, we should be a legit contender for the next 4 or 5 years, hands down. Hands down, we should be in the mix every single season, and part of that means making win-now moves and cashing in those futures. Let's go. I don't want to see a first round. I don't want to see a first round pick drafted with forever. Frank says, Ace, you see your boy Schmidt is 4-1 with Vegas. His GIA sucks, but wins are wins. Listen, guys. I have nothing but the utmost respect and love for Akira Schmid because he did something, and I hate to be this guy. He has done something that no New Jersey Devils goaltender has done in basically, let me rephrase that. I forget how I phrased it the other day. It's basically Akira Schmid is the only Devils goalie besides the great Martin Brodeur to win a playoff round in the past 32 years, I believe it is. It might even be 33. Only one since Marty. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
and did it in heroic fashion against our arch rivals. And that is why I've always said on this channel, I should get that photo up in the background. Now you guys inspired me. I have such limited space, but screw it, I'm putting it up. And it sucks that it's a moment from what I would call the current Devils, but he's not even on the team anymore, but it's still kind of the current, whatever you want to call it, timeline. Akira Schmid after Game 7 with his hands up, a huge photo signed. Akira Schmid will always be a legend on this channel because he is the only goalie besides the great Martin Brodeur in the past 30-some-odd years to win a playoff round, and did it in the most dramatic of fashions, down 2-0 to the Rangers. They give SST his boy Vanacek the hook because he sucked. We lost both games at the Rock on home ice. We're down 2-0. Rangers fans are going, sweep, sweep. We're going to sweep you. Rent-free, rent-free. Debbie's. All this nonsense that these clowns say. And Akira Schmid goes in the Garden and puts up 2 massive dubs. Brings it back to the Rock, tied at 2. And what does Akira Schmid do? Gets a win in Game 5. Now Devils are up 3-2. And then obviously we lost Game 6 at the Garden. Home for Game 7, and Akira Schmid has a shutout. That's all she wrote. Akira Schmid is the only goalie besides the great Martin Brodeur in the past 30-some-odd years to win a playoff round. I rest my case. He will forever be a franchise legend on this channel. I wish him the best of luck out west. I wanted him to be here for a while. At one point, I believed he was the future. I really did. I really, really did. Daniel says, you said it last year. It's a good time to get your shit together. Wait, what was that in reference to? But thank you for the super, Daniel. I don't remember exactly what that was. That's pretty funny. But yeah, Frank, he's a legend, and good luck to him. That would be something if we ended up playing them in the Cup. Imagine. And then because of injuries, whatever, Schmid was the starter. Daniel says, off topic and total fantasy, if Connor McDavid reevaluating his re-sign if the Devils win the Cup, no. That'll never happen, Daniel. He's going to probably be a lifer in Edmonton. But even if he was to leave Edmonton, it's definitely not for the Devils for a variety of reasons. Jay says, what change do you see this year that makes us a legit contender? The change is that we have a bottom 6 that produces, period. That's the main reason. There's some other ones too. But last year, our bottom 6 did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They could not score. And so when the big dogs had a quiet night, when Jack and Bratter and Timo and Nico were quiet and really couldn't get anything going offensively, you couldn't count on the bottom 6 to chip in, or the defense for that matter. We were getting no offensive production from anywhere outside of the top 6. And so if those guys were quiet, it was a wrap. And as a result, the Devils were shut out either 8 or 9 times. I forget. Atrocious. This year, Connor Brown and Grits in the bottom 6 has revamped that entire thing and has produced on the regular. And that has made the team exponentially better because we've now went from essentially last year a 2-line team to now we're a 4-line team again, and at least 3 of the lines could score regularly. I do believe the 4th line will contribute here and there. And who even knows what that 4th line is going to look like. There's tons of different options with the injuries and things. I don't even know what it will look like come playoff time. But at least a 3rd line minimum that could produce very regularly. And you've seen it with Grits and Connor Brown when Grits was on the 3rd line. He's technically on the 2nd line right now, and I don't know how that's going to, unfold as time goes on. But, wow. Dean says, I like Don better than Kanji. Kanji sounded like SpongeBob. Tasha said, Akira Schmid, he even liked the Devils troll post last season after he beat the Rags that was making fun of them hitting Celebrini's car. Oh, stop it, Woodson. Akira was the Devils weren't going to beat that Canes team with anyone in net. Yeah, that's exactly, David. Devils couldn't beat the Canes. You can't blame Akira. Exactly. They were just outgunned and overmatched. It is what it is. Hopefully we get him the next time around. Oh, so much Big Cheese make me so much. Food, desserts,
It was terrible. I can't eat food till Thursday, I think. I hope we can extend Nemitz and Grits too, but Nemitz might be on his way out before then. I hope not, but Honky Lips, what is an away game to see the Devils where the fan base isn't totally obnoxious? I have a 12-year-old daughter who would love to see them play on the road. Honky Lips, where do you live? And I got to get out of here. Where do you live, Honky Lips? I'm waiting for you, Honky Lips. Grits should stay in the top 6. He very well may. Woodson, our bottom 6 is better without Big Mac. I mean, he was never really in the bottom 6. He played so sparingly. You can't even really count that as a win for you. Bergen County. All right. So Honky Lips, my number 1 away game recommendation for you, because it's drivable. Now, if you want to do like a whole plane situation with your daughter, that's a whole different thing. But a great road game to go to, Honky Lips, is Boston. I love Boston. I hate their sports fans, or at least Red Sox and Patriots fans, because I dealt with a lot of them in college. But Bruins fans are pretty normal, and Boston is a great city. There is so much to do there. Great food, great sightseeing. If you're into the historical kind of sightseeing, there's that stuff too. There's the wharf. There's so much to do in Boston. It is one of my favorite cities. And I think that would be a great trip to bring your daughter on where the fans aren't obnoxious. And like I said, there's other stuff to do aside from the game. I'm hoping to go to the Devils-Boston game. I think it's in December this year. I always wished it was earlier in the season, like when it's not super winter, like October, November, when it's still not like freezing. And I always remember, it's Saturday, December 6th. I'm going to try to get to that one. Oh, man, there's a home game the day before. Damn it. Schedule makers, man. Yeah, it's part of another 4 games in 6 nights. But Saturday, December 6th, that'd be a nice weekend trip for you and your daughter, Honky Lips. Lots to do out there in Boston. He's in on that trigger. He'll create another account. Delancey, what's up? It's an 8-game heater, my friend. It is an 8-game heater. Breathe it in. It is unbelievable. Yeah, Boston is really clean. Boston's a great trip. Yeah. It's safe. It's clean. There's great food. You go to the North End, all the Italian stuff. There's great pizza, Mike's Pastry, great Italian restaurants. If you want the whole seafood situation, you go to the wharf area. I'm not a seafood guy, but I have friends that are. There's just so much to do and see in Boston, and it's a great city. I really do enjoy going there. I was there last winter for the Four Nations. What a trip it was. Four Nations was a great tournament. What a win for hockey, man. That was such a great tournament. It's a shame USA couldn't pull it off in the final. I mean, Honky Lips, you say you're Irish and Italian food's awesome. I mean, everyone likes Italian food, Honky Lips. You don't have to be Italian to eat Italian food. So silly. No, but I'll know it's him, and then I'm just going to punt him again, Snow. Drop kicked out of here. Unless he could behave, but he's proved that he can't. So Honky Lips says, I love the history in Boston. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, and now to Snow's point, if you're trying to do a plane trip, I'm right there with Snow. Nashville is also awesome. Obviously, but if your daughter's 12, I guess there's still all the restaurants and stuff. Nashville's cool too. I do think that's better for adults, but your daughter would like that as well. I'm on board with Snow with that. But for like a kid, and if you don't want to do a whole plane situation trip and you want a nice just weekend driver, Boston, top of the list. Tasha, you could always go to Philly. Not sure about the friendly factor, though. I don't like Philly. Yeah. I don't like Philly. Crumbs, I didn't end the stream. I had technical difficulties, obviously. All right, I got to end this thing. I got shit to do. Tasha, I want to go to BU so bad. I love history, too, and I've never been to Boston. Want to go so bad. It's so cool. Tasha, where do you live? Do you live in New Jersey? BU would be a fun school to go to. When I was looking at colleges, I was considering Northeastern in Boston, and I ultimately didn't go, but I went to visit. What says, my boys Jake Allen, Nemitz, and Palat carrying this team. David Ryan, shortest book ever written, Irish recipes. Nashville, home of Paula. Krung says, don't even let him stick around if he behaves. He's breaking your rules on YouTube. Well, if he behaves, he might not be breaking YouTube's terms of service. And I don't know which terms of service you're talking about. James says, Boston is fun. Tell them you're a Devils fan, but root for the Red Sox just to piss off your obnoxious Yankee fan mother-in-law. I did that, and they treated me like I was the second coming of Jesus. Mark, what's up? 8 straight feels so good, Ace. Love the way both Cots and Grits brought the goods today. Crushing a tomato pie right now to celebrate. Very nice. Yeah, Tasha, if you want to go to BU, Boston's a great college city. I visited Northeastern when I was looking at colleges. If I could do it all over and had to go somewhere else, I would consider BU. And now to the point of, Krung said BU is cool. It's so expensive. Now Krung said could go to Rutgers twice for the cost of BU. And that's where now, to that point, college was expensive when I went to college, over 20 years ago, or when I started college 20 years ago. Now it's so ridiculously expensive for undergrad that I am now on that train where if you can go to Rutgers, which is a pretty fun, decent school or good school, depending on who you talk to, for in-state tuition, I 1,000% would recommend that just because of how ridiculously expensive everything has gotten. But, this is just my point of view and should not be taken as any sort of serious advice. But that's just my kind of look on it right now. BU is nice. It's super hard to get into. It's not surprising. All right, guys, I got to go. Our beloved New Jersey Devils on an 8-game heater, courtesy of our boy 86, Jack Hughes, overtime thriller, his second of the night, assisted by Shimo Nemitz with his third apple on the evening. And if you're not fired up about this club, what are you waiting for? We are back in action on, is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday in Denver on the road against this exact same Avalanche team who will be looking for revenge, who will be salty because they've now lost 2 in a row and they're going to want some payback. But hopefully they don't get it. And I will be back. There'll probably be a video or two before then. Obviously, there's going to be a post-game live for you night owls. And that's it, guys. I am on cloud 9. Is an 8-game heater. Jack Hughes has just exploded. Wait, let me just double check that. Someone said he was leading the show in goals. Let me just double check that that's accurate. And he's tied for first. That is correct with Shane Pinto atop the National with 8 goals. Wow. It's crazy. Makar has 11 points. So ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. And that's it. That's it, guys. We're back on Tuesday. Looking to make it 9 on the road. It should be exciting. I am fired up. I'll be doing the post-game all West Coast trip. And we'll see which one of you guys are real late-night warriors. Some of those are going to be late kickoffs. Super late kickoffs to the West Coast, but I'm fired up. We are 8-1. We are first in the league on an 8-game heater. There's not much more to say, folks. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, follow me on all the other stuff. I try to remember to say that. But follow me on X and Instagram and all that stuff. The giveaway show's coming up. That's it, guys. I'm going to cry tears of joy. We're on an 8-game heater, and Jack is the man. Second goal of the game. And overtime winner. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. That's it. I'm exhausted. It's been these games have been fast and furious, and I'm a little fatigued. But thank you all for coming out. Appreciate you all. That's it, guys. Back soon. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. And I said follow me on X, Instagram, whatever else. And that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.